That has been our resolve, how to get interest rates down. And I'm on record to have declared that for me, my personal prayer each morning is that by the time I'm leaving office, I've done 1 year so far, I believe I have 2.5 more years to go, I want to see lending rates below 10%. So last week, a friend at AFSA, he sent me a message and he said, Governor, it seems you have almost achieved the thing. Oh. He said, why? Because he said the general reference rate was around 11. It's now below even 11%. 10.8. So that means that on average, if you are a good customer, a customer that has a good credit record, you are likely to get a lending rate of around that amount. Isn't that good? I mean, it makes no sense. So together we have to strive to maintain this new environment we have created in the past 1 year. Low interest, stable exchange rate environment. It is such a necessary condition. There's nothing we can do without it. On our part at the Bank of Ghana, that is what we do. That is what my generals are here every day. How to hold this anchor for the sake of our businesses going forward. And we do everything possible to move things forward.
We must now move with greater urgency and intention to position Ghana as the manufacturing hub of West Africa. No nation becomes truly prosperous by exporting raw materials alone and ending up importing value. We cannot continue to produce cocoa and import chocolate, grow food and import too much of what we could process locally, or ship out raw opportunity whilst buying back finished products at a premium.
Regarding LGBTQ plus issues, it remains a highly emotive and sensitive issue even in the most advanced liberal democracies. I explained during my recent engagement with the World Affairs Council that it's not the most important issue we face as a nation. We're still grappling with the provisions of basic needs of education, healthcare, jobs, food, clothing, and shelter. Nevertheless, the private members' bill introduced in Parliament has sparked a complex and sensitive national conversation. Our position is guided by our Constitution, respect for human rights and dignity of all persons, and the need to preserve social cohesion. While there are strong and differing views within our society, we believe that these issues must be addressed through democratic processes, our core values, dialogue, and the rule of law. I'm also mindful of reactions from our international partners, including the recent developments such as Lincoln University's withdrawal of their honorary doctorate. These developments underscore the importance of continued engagement and mutual respect, and of situating our national decisions within our constitutional and cultural context. Ghana will continue to uphold its democratic values while engaging constructively with the international community.
President Akufo-Addo, as the representative of Ningo Pram Pram, the people of Ghana want to hear what your view is on the LGBTQ bill that is before you. Say something and sign it. Mr. President, you are beginning to appear as a supporter of LGBTQ. The people of Ghana and the people of Ningo Pram Pram do not want it. So President Akufo-Addo, it has been 8 months since Parliament passed the legislation. Sign it or tell the people what your stance is on LGBTQ. We know the stance of President Mahama. We don't know your stance. President Akufo-Addo, as the representative of Ningo Pram Pram, the people of Ghana want to hear what your view is on the LGBTQ bill that is before you. Say something and sign it. Mr. President, you are beginning to appear as a supporter of LGBTQ. The people of Ghana and the people of Ningo Pram Pram do not want it. So President Akufo-Addo, it has been 8 months since Parliament passed the legislation. Sign it or tell the people what your stance is on LGBTQ. We know the stance of President Mahama. We don't know your stance. President Akufo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Ghanaians and all who hold the moral fabric of our dear nation in high esteem. I welcome you to the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party on behalf of the leadership of our great party. We have called you here today to address a matter of grave national importance, a matter that exposes the highest order of political deceit, hypocrisy, and double standards by President John Dramani Mahama and the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC. For years, the NDC weaponized the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, using it as a political tool to deceive eminent clergy, our imams, our revered traditional leaders, and the good people of Ghana. Today, having secured power through this grand deception, President Mahama and his government have seamlessly shifted their stance, abandoning the very cause they championed so loudly in opposition. The grand deception the opposition faced pre-2025. Let us take a walk down memory lane. When the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was introduced in 2021 as a private member's bill, there were 8 sponsors. I stood proudly as a sponsor alongside 7 members of the NDC, my colleagues in Parliament, Honorable Sam Nate George, Honorable De La Soa, Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi-Bedzra, Honorable Alhassan Suhini, Honorable Rita Odole Soa, Honorable Helen Adjoa Ntonso, and Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo in 2021. We did so out of deep conviction, recognizing that the bill reflects the desires, culture, and religious beliefs of the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians. During this period, the NDC's position was firmly supported and politically assertive. My colleagues from the NDC saw this not just as a moral imperative, but as a potent political weapon. They engaged the streets of Accra, our communities, the media, religious leaders, civil society groups, and traditional rulers, our imams, our pastors, and portrayed the MPP government at the time as indecisive and disconnected from Ghanaian moral values. During the 2024 election campaign, the then candidate John Dramani Mahama explicitly pledged to sign the bill into law when voted into power. He went as far as accusing former President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, of delaying the bill's assent due to dependence on foreign aid. Mr. Mahama boldly declared that if Ghana were self-reliant, no foreign entity could dictate our laws. He presented himself to Ghanaians and the Ghanaian voter as the ultimate, uncompromising defender of our family values. Now to the shift, an early period in power, 2025. However, the moment the NDC assumed power in 2025, the narrative began to change. The strong rhetoric of opposition was quickly replaced by procedural caution. In January 2025, when the Catholic Bishops' Conference met with President Mahama to urge him to pass the bill, he signaled his intent to introduce fresh government-sponsored legislation that would more strictly and more comprehensively address the practices and promotion of LGBTQ and its related activities in Ghana. On another occasion, in contrast, while addressing the clergy, President Mahama declared the previous bill, quote unquote, effectively dead because it had expired with the 8th Parliament. He argued further that moving forward, in quotes, and I quote, probably shouldn't be a private member's bill. It probably should be a government bill with government behind it after consultation with all stakeholders. End of quote. This was the first clear signal of a shift from rhetoric to risk management. Faced with the realities of governance, including risk to World Bank and IMF funding, as well as constitutional challenges, the NDC government moved from push the bill at all costs to manage how it is introduced and structured. As recent as November 2025, during a courtesy visit by the Christian Council of Ghana to the Jubilee House, President Mahama reaffirmed his administration's opposition to same-sex marriage and pledged to sign the bill if it were passed by Parliament. He looked at religious leaders in the face and stated, "Marriage is between a man and a woman," in quote. "A person's gender is determined at birth. The family is the foundation of our nation," among other things. Yet behind the scenes, the urgency has already evaporated. The current reality, the strategic distancing of President Mahama and the NDC in 2026. Today, in 2026, we see the final phase of this grand deception. The NDC government has moved away from active championing of the LGBTQ bill to a cautious, deprioritized, and process-driven approach. On March 31st, 2026, President Mahama made a shocking declaration during his engagement with civil society groups at the Jubilee House. He stated that this government remains focused on, quote, basic needs, and that the bill, which seeks to clip the wings of LGBTQ activities, is no longer a priority. Shocking, no longer a priority. We must ask President Mahama, were these basic needs he refers to not present between 2021 and 2024, when he and his party weaponized LGBTQI propaganda to win votes? Did Ghana not need roads, jobs, education, infrastructure, hospitals, and many other needs, when he traversed the country promising the clergy, the imams, traditional rulers, and the general public that he would sign the bill with alacrity and utmost priority? That's a question Ghanaians are asking President Mahama. What has changed? Have our basic needs changed between 2024 and now? To advocate so aggressively for a policy in opposition, only to dismiss it as a low priority once in government, is the height of hypocrisy and deception. Furthermore, President Mahama has been playing a dangerous double game. As the African Human Rights Coalition aptly noted on March 28, 2026, and I quote, President John Dramani Mahama has presented two faces to the world, one tailored for Ghanaians, Ghanaian voters at home, and another carefully curated for American audiences abroad. While promising Ghanaians at home that he supports the bill in principle, he travels abroad and sings a completely different tune. Standing before the American institutions, his certainty dissolves into procedural language, deflection, and appeals to the democratic process. Today, the president hides behind the fact that it is a private member's bill to wash his hands off it, outlining and citing constitutional pathways to delay or reject the legislation. It is no wonder that Lincoln University rightfully counseled his honorary doctorate. Even the international community sees through this strategic doublespeak. The ultimate betrayal, the smuggling of LGBTQ into our schools, rather very disappointing. Perhaps the most devastating contradiction of all lies in the NDC's approach to our educational system, which is the smuggling of the LGBTQ agenda into our schools. In that same January 2025 engagement with the Cali Bishop Conference, President Mahama proposed an alternative to legislation. He argued that if Ghanaian family values were taught in our schools, put in the curriculum, there would be no need to pass any bill to enforce such values. He explicitly promised to review the curriculum to ensure that our values are prominent, stating, and I quote, more than even the values and more than even the family values bill, it's us agreeing on a curriculum that inculcates these values into our children as they are growing up so that we don't need to legislate it, end of quote. Ghanaians took him at his word. But what did President Mahama and his government do instead? In January of this year, We took the pain to expose the NDC government's deliberate, and here I stress, deliberate, orchestrated, and diabolical LGBT agenda in our schools, the exact opposite of their rhetoric. Instead of inculcating Ghanaian family values, they smuggled LGBTQ definitions and concepts down the throats of our innocent, unsuspecting students during the first week of the semester. They diabolically taught students that gender identity goes beyond the binary notion of male and female assigned at birth, but rather the inner feeling of an individual which makes them or makes a person male or female or a blend of both. And here, as in Akan we say, this book in my hand is the Teacher Manual of Physical Education and Health, elective, printed by President Mahama and his Ministry of Education, NACA, and distributed by Ghana Education Service to our schools. They held workshops to train our teachers how to deliver this instruction. I turn with you to page 3. And page 3 of this diabolical agenda, the Teacher Manual. The first week, week 1, this is week 1. So when our students, our wards, whether you are NDC or NPP, whether you are apolitical, regardless your beliefs and your creed, your child, your grandchild, your nephew, your niece went to school and was welcomed right after Christmas, first week of the semester, with these lessons. Let me take the pain to read a few to you. Gender identity. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. This concept goes beyond the binary notion of gender, male and female, and recognizes the diversity of gender experiences and expressions. This is what President Mahama and his government have confused and indoctrinated our unsuspecting innocent students with. Imagine this lesson finding expression in our teacher manuals during the time of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, during the MPP time. All hell would have broken loose. But President Mahama has printed these books and he has distributed them through Ghana Education Service and NACA under the supervision of Ministry of Education. They have held capacity building workshops to train teachers. They have further gone and delivered this instruction. And nobody is minded even to take steps to unlearn these diabolical concepts from the...
Me GD, my faith is against LGBTQ. Me Assemblies of God, me. If we say the faith I have, Empany say Bema, Bewari Bema, Oba, Bewari Oba. Bill a war parliament, Omunyam passing, but say a buying actress says Omu passing president on sign. If he say the attorney general like can say be a private members motion. Ubetimi pass a bill with a private members motion, but enise edekabia ebeto abanso. And based on that technicality, President Asegna said Seba on signing. In terms of the idea between Parliament and the executive, Omoshe na Omokan, or Ebia Sombeshe bill Numna, Nomashe Bibia, it puts a charge on government, na Omoye no freewa. Then it opens the way for the president to be happy to sign the agreement. And so, me personally, Benjin this, and a man is a man, a woman is a woman. Me believe it say nipa what me sorry I say me feeli wo me mu say me oba. And so yeah wo me be mind to me cause sa no my oba. They I mean nature created us man and woman. And Nyame boy, no, he knew what he was doing when he created us like that. And so if you ask me, my personal faith is against it.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, so good morning, and thank you very much for joining the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro, and it's always a pleasure to come your way. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, isn't it? This is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. I want to say a big thanks to the Almighty God for making it possible for us to return here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. I also want to once again say a big thanks to you, our loyal, cherished, and valued viewers, for taking time off your busy schedule to tune in at 7 a.m. and stay with us all the way till 9:55. You have no idea what this means to us. Without you, we don't have a show and we don't have a business. So keep watching Good Morning Ghana. But beyond the watching, please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is where the real conversation happens. Let me go straight ahead and look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. And the Daily Graphic says that One Health Agenda, Mahama rallies action against health threats. Initiatives move at Leon Summit. Oncology nurse launches initiative to improve cancer treatment and survivorship. Engineers and planners wins the mining lease. And there's also Oil Palm Fund will create coherent ecosystem and also boost supply, according to the DBG CEO. The Ghanaian Times this morning is the rejection of 10-20 Peswa coin. The economist warns of price hikes. BOG insists all coins must be accepted. President Mahama calls for urgent action to tackle rising global health threats. The MPP calls for swift passage of anti-LGBTQ bill plus. And there's 4 arrested over suspected narcotics drugs at Offenso. Daily Guide, Sampa dispute. There's Samodia dragged to court for contempt. NPP slams Mahama over LGBTQ U-turn. There's Damang Mine goes to ENP. And there's RNAQ's ex-wife hires new lawyers to fight divorce judgment. Gumwa Easter Carnival delivers culture, music, economic boom. Alhaji Fuzag completes 3-story block for Ambaria Islamic School. Congrats, Alhaji, for this wonderful gesture. I'm sure that the people of Ambaria would be very grateful for this. I recall, it must have been sometime in 2019 when some of us had a call from them to help them mobilize some resources to complete this, to complete this block. And it looks like finally somebody has come to their aid. So Alhaji Fuzak, wherever you are, congratulations for doing this. It means a lot to the people of the Ambaria movement or community. The New Crusading Guard this morning says a grand scheme to loot the state. Alarm blows over GRA. Israeli COI's deal. Ochebefi alleges AI contract dubious. And there's also RNAQ wife divorce fight. Mrs. Joanna Kwe hires new lawyer to appeal against absurd court orders. And there's Alhaji Hussein Fuzak constructs ultra-modern 3-story classroom block for Ambaria Islamic School. And there's Sampa chieftaincy brawl. Nanayao Samudia could go to jail in latest court battle. Chairman Divine Agohum pushes for probe into why Ghanaian businesses fail. There's also from under tree to corporate landmark. MDE Ghana opens ultramodern head office. That's what the New Crusading Guide. The Inside says the conflict of interest concerns emerge over planned $100 million exim facility to Heath Goldfields. Reject flawed Bogoso Prestia Mines inspection report by AG. Orders acting chief inspector, stakeholders urge minister. There's also a story on Palestine. This says calls for global action over Israeli death penalty law. Trump's Iran war is not going great for the NATO, according to an alliance. There's also Lands and Mines Watch backs ENP Damang Award. And there's a demands result in accountability. Veep installed Mamaga Ajagba 1 pledges major tourism push. There's Deputy Interior Minister fingered in Teshin Agbawi land matters but denies claims. The Herald. ENP wins Damai mine bid with $500 million on-site experience and massive equipment ownership. Minority leader accuses government of giving juiciest contracts to foreigners. Yes, he said it here on Good Morning Ghana. We hosted him. We did a one-on-one with him, and it was something that he kept harping and repeating. It was something that quite clearly was passionate about, and so I'm not surprised some of the newsletters have picked it up. There's ability. Ocho River. Maria Commander counting his days. That's on the front page of today's Herald. The Ghanaian publisher says Rinax ex-wife files divorce ruling with new lawyers. There's detached politics from business, according to Minority. Gomwa Easter Carnival boosts local economy. There's MPP pressures NDC on LGBTQ+. That's on the front page of today's Ghanaian publisher. The Accra Times says at Kwewu Business Forum, BOG Governor touts Ghana's economy. There's Sagnarogu MP praised and on it. There's 24-hour markets for Bimbela Minister Ali Adolf cuts sword. Northern Region Minister hosts Parliament's Public Accounts Committee. There's all hail Alhaji Hussein Fuzak over construction of 3-story classroom block for Ambaria Islamic School. The Daily Post this morning is reporting that NPA COMAC champions safety excellence with launch of Safety Week 2026. Ghana ready for increased foreign investment, according to GIPC's CEO. EMP wins the mine bid with 93.15%. Years of on-site experience and equipment ownership give EMP decisive edge. Economy Times says that NPL risk casts shadow over Ghana's economic recovery amid BOG rate cut. S&P affirms Ghana at B- and B amid debt and economic restructuring. Ghana signals manufacturing ambition as Easter festivities blend culture with commerce. The Inquisitor. It says impending reshuffle, something bad go happen. Hey, Inquisitor, what is it that you know that we don't know? It says that GSA haulage drivers confer ahead of axle load enforcement. And there's Kwewu Business Forum, and there's an editorial on Kwewu Business Forum. It says history will be very kind to Julius Deborah. And there's NPA deepening safety education at Kwewu Easter. And there's also Gomwa Easter Carnival draws a record crowd. The Daily Statesman says that Wuntumi rallies MPP base in Greater Accra. There's Renac divorce war enters new phase. Wife rejects 300,000 cedis deal, heads to appeal court. And also MPP says Mahama NDC in grand deception over anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Media coalition pledges support for NIMO's anti-Galamsey efforts. The Custodian is reporting that Ghana to lose 18.15 billion cedis by 2027, according to a CPS report. Let's insulate private businesses from politics. Jerry Ahmed urges at Kwewu Forum 2026. Legal breach cost Goldfields Damine lease. And then it continues to say that a tender committee picks engineers and planners to take over the Damine mine. The Zimbabwean president tours the ACARP after Zoom Lion Geo Pomona MOU. You can't abandon your pledge on LGBTQ plus bill, MPP tells Mahama. And finally, the Informer. Speak the truth, be measured in criticisms. Apenyomaking advises politicians. There's 2026 World Cup sponsorship for Black Stars fans. Sports Minister contradicts president. And then there's also fake HIV test kits flood Ghana. FDA sounds alarm over dangerous counterfeits. And then there's also misuse of police insignia. It says authorities urge to investigate Asamankese liaison. And there's also Manangagwa visits Jospon Group, tours ACARP sites. There's Ghanaians urge to embrace good values as well. That's on the front page of today's Informer. Let me look online briefly, and then we can take a break and bring in our guest for today. So my job online this morning says, wear blue or green hat to survive. IBAC president says insurance industry captured by politics. There's Kwachu Fosu rejects NPP minorities' call for apology over anti-LGBTQ+. This VIP transport defense fare increase over rising fuel and maintenance costs. If you go to the city newsroom, you have how and why engineers and planners secured Daman mine lease. And there's also giving back to Ghana. Ochame Kwame explains pediatric center project at Meshia Hospital. This plan to scrap presidential elections puts Zimbabweans at loggerheads. And then you have Ghana Web that says, watch as Mahama Woody Nka praises the president. And there's also why the business community should champion the Constitutional Review Committee's proposed. And then there's oil prices drop after Trump's ceasefire announcement. And then MetroTVOnline.com says Uganda officially confirms date for AFCON 2027. And it says offers visa waivers for international fans. Keep fuel taxes, adjust transport fares, CDAC tells government. And then Ashanti region man denies burning wife's family house over alleged affair with Boga. Okay, so that's it for our newspaper and online review. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. I'll tell you who my guests are shortly.
Tanumo onunchoni ha odangma chichele wekun oyanu chumo osoli mojiake ubawonani aya baba shushu amen.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
Of Ghana's was classified as poor.
This is Fair Generation Show, the program for smart children.
Fair Generation! Children, are you ready?
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the School's Homecoming Show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Legon, which means when you go there, you get more of the Le to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
You're welcome to Junction 5 Lounge. Bar, grill, chill.
You know, say me the Lord for the whole area. Me to control every street for here. My name is Lord Gaza.
Lord Gaza.
You do hear they mix liquor and things. I beg you, for do what? For gather something. The bar, otherwise, I think gather boys. You are bad you now. I see.
Landlord, I beg this one. I beg you for understanding. Landlord. As young people, you need to be able to make decisions that will better your lives.
If you gave this money to me, Jane, I would have bought you nice clothes, like look nice, change my nails, like.
Oh, lifted. Hey, it be such God answer prayers.
Nanama Ejewa, is this the class you're supposed to be taking?
Please.
Nanama,
please,
is this really happening? What be the source of your word? What's the source of your poverty?
Are you bad days?
Coconut.
Are you bad days?
Coconut that.
Point of correction. I no be Lord Gaza anymore. If you call me Yao. Oh, Brian. Hey, all this we should call you this one. Brian for where?
Well, I'm done saying that.
Hey, see now what I'm doing there. You can't see me.
Your lounge has been placed at number 10. But after today,
number
I think,
10?
Yeah. After today, I think I'll place you guys at number 5, depending on the taste of your food. Yes.
When Ginny scared about a child and said, okay, you're thinking about what? What is going on with you?
You know one thing, you guys are so incompetent these days. Look here, I'm talking to you, you know that's the truth.
Supplies! Surprise, I've surprised you.
Lord Gaza. M-H-O-V-E. Lord Gaza.
Basu.
Basu, they come.
Yeah. I say you did lie.
Me, I did lie.
You did lie.
How the girl feel you?
What was all this drama of coming to my class late today?
I told you I'm pregnant. What are you doing about?
I said, Abado, why make up so?
Hey, what police are being teaching you? Shall we Phoebe? Shall not say I pass our bravo?
But why are you saying that?
That girl is a charlatan. It's a wolf in a sheep's clothing. A prostitute in disguise.
Abaya come yourself. Na bla ubo college mu ha eye.
My friend said if she come and come. Since I'm come pie, don't come and spoil my spiritual mood for me.
But you the other time the running way, Charlie, I take come no you chop
running.
My food no.
Do you know how hungry I was that day?
For no say if you running there. If I bring them, if I no.
One more thing, I will embark on a project like 1 boy, 3 girlfriends.
All right, you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM. My guests, my Wednesday guests, I believe it. I think my Wednesdays are my favorite guests. Yes, my favorite guests are Wednesdays. And I don't have any qualms with that at all because my uncle is here. My uncle Kwesi, I don't agree with him all the time, but that's fine. He appreciates that. He appreciates that. Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr. is a former managing editor of the Insight newspaper. We call him affectionately Uncle Kwesi, and also he's a veteran and a seasoned journalist as well. He's joined us on his favorite Wednesdays since the show started 20-something years. He's always been here on Wednesdays. We appreciate him. We thank you very much for that. Uncle Kwesi, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. And also joining us is MP for Ifija, Kwabre North. I'm talking about Honorable Collins Adomako Mensah. He's also a former Deputy Minister for Energy. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. How have you been? You made a few...
Yes.
You were out of town briefly.
Out of town briefly for an official trip.
All right.
And then when I returned, I spent some 2 days in Parliament, and then Parliament recess. Obviously, you have to be in the constituency for the Easter break.
Yeah.
So I joined my constituent, spent the whole weekend there. A town called Akom, they organized a float, kind of, just to ginger the base, and then they took that up as an opportunity to seek support for some development within their area. So I was there to support them. Of course, I was home receiving visitors here and there. Took time also to visit some parts of the constituency, follow up on some projects that I am sponsoring, and so far everything is fine.
All right. So the constituents are fine. They help you. I mean, there's no issue you want to bring up as far as the constituency.
No, as far as the constituency is concerned, everything seems to be.
Okay. But how was the trip though? You went to Spain?
Yes, Madrid.
What was the...
Oh, a training program on energy, the energy committee.
Right.
That I attended with some other members,
Certainly was worth it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Was your first time in Spain?
That's my first time in Madrid.
Oh, okay.
And I was excited because, my team is Real Madrid.
Yeah. Yesterday you struggled again.
Struggled.
Well, he played well. I think something was just not
right. The keeper was good. I don't know. I was good.
Very.
It was good.
Very, very good.
We knew it was going to be a tough match, but let's see how the second leg goes.
But 2-1 is something you can easily scale over.
Bayern Munich are in a very good form.
Very
good form.
I think Vincent has done a good job with Bayern Munich.
Very good form.
Very good job with Bayern Munich. Well, the thing about Real Madrid is that when it comes to trophies, you can never rule them out.
Can never write us off.
No, you can never write them off. So anything is possible. Anyway, Ongwezi, almost every Wednesday when you come here, in fact, since the Middle East crisis started, we broach it here, depending on what the developments are. And it's for 2 reasons, because you're so much on top of the Middle East issues. And of course, the perspective that you share, a lot of our viewers appreciate it. And they do very much. I mean, when we leave here, they call and say they are happy when they hear you comment on the developments in the Middle East because of the depth of knowledge that you have. I'm sure that you're fully aware that, and I know that you're fully aware that there have been some developments. First of all, America gave Iran a 48-hour, or gave them a 48-hour ultimatum, which was supposed to have ended 8 p.m. Washington time, for them to open the strait. If they didn't, they were going to do what Trump called an annihilation, or a total destruction, or what he calls the Iran civilization. Whatever that meant, we don't know. But Pakistan has been at the forefront of broking some kind of a temporary peace deal between the two. But it's also come with some conditions. And those conditions, the Pakistani mediation team has put before the American citizens, or put before Donald Trump. Right, if you can put that up for us to read, it's just a 10-point, proposal that will be put before the people of America. Trump Okay. Trump, well, for now, tends to agree with that. So let me just walk our viewers through what this 10-point, what we call the 10-point plan for the conditional ceasefire according to Iran. And it says, 1, complete cessation of the war on Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen. That's the first one. The second one is complete and permanent cessation of the war on Iran with no time limit. 3, ending all conflicts in the region in their entirety. 4, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. 5, establishing a protocol and conditions to ensure freedom and security of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. 6, full payment of compensation for reconstruction costs to Iran. 7, full commitment to lifting sanctions on Iran. 8, release of Iranian funds and frozen assets held by the United States. 9, Iran fully commits to not seeking possession of any nuclear weapons. 10, immediate ceasefire takes effect on all fronts immediately upon approval of the above conditions. So in 2 weeks' time, these matters are going to be looked into in Islamabad. In the meantime, fuel prices have seen some kind of a reduction, moved from some 109 or so. It's now hovering around $90-something per barrel. But of course, back home, we do know that the president has called for an emergency meeting to look at, you know, the options available to Ghana in sort of dealing with the potential hardships that this may cause if this continues. Uncle C, please help us put all of this in this proper context or perspective for us.
I think the first most important consideration has to do with the fact that this ceasefire agreement was achieved on the basis of the 10-point plan which Iran submitted, rather than the 15-point plan which the U.S. put forward.
Very
this
important.
is most significant. Okay. Now, the details of the 10-point plan which Iran submitted are those that you have just read. There is something significant about the 10-point plan. In the 10-point plan put out by Iran, if you look at the Farsi version, which is the Iranian version, it does not include anything which suggests that Iran cannot have a nuclear program and Iran cannot enrich uranium. But if you look at the English version, which has been released in the United States, that is incorporated in the 10-point plan. Now, which is authentic must not be in doubt, because the 10-point plan was actually put out by Iran.
Yeah.
So I'm more inclined to accept the Iranian version of this 10-point plan. Now, there are some very interesting developments, over the last 48 hours, some very, very interesting developments. One of them is that before the war, Iran did not have control over the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz was an international waterway. You didn't need permission from Iran to go through the Strait of Hormuz and so on. Under the 10-point plan, which has been accepted, the Strait of Hormuz has been opened, but under the control of the Iranian military.
True.
You need to get permission from the Iranians in order to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And in fact, you need even to get Iranian military escorts. That's extraordinary. I mean, Iran has gained more than it even had, before the war. And that's most instructive.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to what the 10-point plan, sets out, and what appears to have been agreed, because Donald Trump makes the point that the 10-point plan put out by Iran is a workable document. It's a document that you can live with, you can work with, and so on. Iran is now saying that those who use the Strait of Hormuz must pay for its reconstruction, and that it is going to impose a levy, which comes up to about $2 million per vessel, on those who use the Strait of Hormuz, in order to repair the damage which has been caused by the war.
Right.
That's also significant and very, very interesting. Now, the other dimension of this ceasefire is that Israel is most uncomfortable. Okay. An aide to Netanyahu last night said that Donald Trump has moved from hero to zero. I mean, that shows how angry they are with Donald Trump. And that's, to some extent, understandable, because Israel has achieved nothing out of this war. I mean, if you look at parts of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and so on, you know, they very much look like Gaza. You understand?
Substantial damage.
I mean, substantial damage has been caused to the Israelis. I mean, the Israelis believed that they had protection, you know, from the Patriot missiles and so on. Iran has demonstrated that, look, it isn't the case. Now, during the war, something very significant happened, and we have forgotten it. We appear to have forgotten it. The estimate before the war was that Iranian missiles could not travel beyond 2,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
That was the estimate. During the war, Iran fired a missile, a hypersonic missile, towards the Diego Garcia military base of the US and Britain, and it traveled for more than 4,000 kilometers. Okay. Now, they fired only one. They haven't fired any more. Now, how many such weapons does Iran still have, which it has not used? Okay? That's a very significant question. Now, in the course of the war, the Iranians also fired one missile, a hypersonic missile which travels, I think, at the speed of sound. They fired only one. Again, do they have that capacity? And how much of that capacity actually exists?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
But during the war, throughout the war, the Iranians have insisted that they have not used their full capacity.
True.
They have always said that what they are using are their old stock of weapons. And that as the war continues to be escalated, they will bring out more sophisticated weapons and so on. And they've demonstrated that they have that. Now, you see, wars are won or lost based on the extent to which the objectives have been achieved.
Yeah.
So what were the initial objectives? There were two objectives, sometimes conflicting and so on. One objective which appeared to have been accepted or declared by the United States of America and Israel was to prevent Iran from producing a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a very silly objective based on the fact that Israel has a stockpile of nuclear weapons, based on the fact that Israel has facilities for the production of nuclear weapons, based on the fact that there are many countries around the world which have nuclear weapons and which are not being attacked. Pakistan, India, the Democratic Republic of Korea, and so on.
America agrees, but they say those countries are not a threat to them. But Iran is a threat to them. That's why they will not allow Iran to build any nuclear weapons.
Moro, does that make sense? Does that make sense? So any country which also feels threatened
yes.
by U.S. nuclear weapons can launch an attack.
Yes.
Is
that, that's the logic.
Yeah, but is that really logic?
But it doesn't. I agree with you.
It doesn't make any sense at all. That's the point I'm making. You understand? So that appeared to have been one of the objectives. The second objective was regime change. Okay? Regime change. And that objective was not pushed forcefully. It came up a number of times and so on. But in a very sublime way, regime change. Now Trump claims that they have achieved regime change because they killed Ayatollah Khamenei, some military chiefs and so on, the head of intelligence and so on, so they have achieved regime change.
Yes.
Trump's definition of regime is quite interesting. Regime is not personality, it's a structure and so on. Now, one other objective which also came up, apart from the objective of regime change, was that they expected some kind of an uprising of the Iranian people,
yes,
to change the ideological direction of the country. That's not regime change. That's more substantial than regime change. Okay. How they expected that to happen, it's unbelievable. And how do you assume that dropping bombs on a country would lead to the mobilization of a people who would then wage a revolution and take over and change the direction of a country? It doesn't happen. There was no structure, there was no movement, there was no leadership, and so on. So it raises all kinds of questions about the strategic planning of both the U.S. and Israel. But this is the Daily Graphic of today. Daily Graphic of today, page 9. And it carries a story which simply says that U.S. lawmakers invoke 25th Amendment in call for Donald Trump's removal.
Yes.
I mean, this is interesting. The calls for the removal of Donald Trump are coming mainly from the Democrats, but also from his Republican base.
Yeah.
And many people are beginning to question his mental capacity, his stability, his mental stability. Look, one of those calling for the removal of Donald Trump through the invocation of the 25th Amendment is the Arizona Congresswoman. Her name is Yasamin Ansari. And she says this: Trump is escalating a devastating illegal war, threatening massive war crimes and targeting civilian infrastructure in Iran. In the last 48 hours alone, the rhetoric has crossed every line. This is a U.S. Congresswoman. Then there's the other Congresswoman, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, who says that this unhinged, and listen to her words very carefully. This is a U.S. Congresswoman who says that this unhinged lunatic must be removed from office. Then there's another Congresswoman, Melanie Stanberry of New Mexico, who says, and it's in quotation, time for the 25th Amendment. Congress and Cabinet must act. You understand? And then it goes on. Then there's a former Republican Congressman, Joe Walsh of Illinois, who also says that he will forever be a stain on this country and the world. 25th Amendment now. You understand? So what the war has led to is a tide of calls for the removal of Donald Trump and the handing over of power to J.D. Vance, the vice president. Now, there are a number of factors. One, more than 70% of Americans did not support the war. They saw this war as a useless, needless, wasteful war. And the reason for that was that this war was waged at a time when their healthcare benefits were being removed or reduced. At a time when the U.S. is in a major infrastructural crisis. Their bridges are old, it needs to be built. The underground, the subway is in tatters, and so on. In fact, the statistics indicate that homelessness in the United States is rising, and so on. So it was at this time that this war was launched, costing the U.S. close to $2 billion every day. So the citizens of the U.S. are saying, what the heck is this? You understand? They cannot understand why their resources are not going into the provision of social services and so on, but are going into a war which they think is not beneficial at all. They think is not beneficial at all. 2 nights ago, I took the trouble to listen to Donald Trump's press conference on the rescue of the U.S. airman, you know, who bailed out and landed somewhere on the mountains of Iran. You know, I took the trouble to listen to him. And to tell you the truth, I was completely shocked. I was so shocked that a man like Donald Trump actually has his fingers literally on the button, on a nuclear button. Unbelievable. Look, one journalist asked him whether he was aware that the threat to obliterate the energy infrastructure of Iran, the bridges and so on, would amount to war crimes. And his response is just, what war crimes? That the people he's fighting are animals.
Yeah.
My goodness. I couldn't believe it. That is why they are able to do what they did to Iran, because they don't even consider them as human beings. Because if they considered them as human beings, they would not do what they did. And it was so shocking. I mean, I cringed. I couldn't believe it. U.S. president addressing the press conference before the world, calling a people animals. Shocking. You know, but he did. You know, but that was not the only shocking aspect. He then launches into a tirade against all of their friends. Japan got a fair share of the tirade. South Korea got a fair share of the tirade. France got a fair share. Britain got a fair share. Germany, he attacked all of them. And was full of praise for Kim Jong-un. He described Kim Jong-un as his friend, and that if previous administration knew how to deal with him, he would not have had a nuclear weapon and so on. And full of praise for President Putin.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it that a U.S. president was saying these things. You understand?
Right.
So very shocking. Now, one other aspect has to do with his tweets on Truth Social.
Yeah.
There was one that he did, and Honorable, there's no way I can repeat what Donald Trump tweeted on a morning breakfast show. Yeah. It's impossible. I cannot. It's so vulgar that I would not attempt it. It's extremely vulgar. And this is the president of the United States of America. It's an imperial power, no doubt. You understand? We have all kinds of problems with the U.S., but there's an expectation of a certain modicum of respectability and so on. Trump erases all of that. I mean, if you read some of his tweets, it's unbelievable. Worse still, I don't know, Honorable, if you've seen his attack on Emmanuel Macron and the references he makes to Emmanuel Macron's marriage.
Yeah.
What? There is nothing elegant about it. You know. But that is not all. You understand? That is not all. This is the President of the United States of America.
Right.
Who threatened to take over the Panama Canal.
Yes.
Threatened to annex Canada as the 52nd state of the United States of America. Threatened to take part of Denmark, which is a member of NATO, the Greenland.
Right.
You know. This is the President of the U.S. who publicly claims that Venezuelan oil belongs to him.
Yes.
Not even to the U.S., to him.
Yes.
That he is going to make the decisions about Venezuelan oil and so on. This is the President of the United States of America who looks the world in the face and says that, oh, when I look at my foreign minister, he will make a nice president for Cuba. Where is it going to end? All of this. I mean, my brother, where is it going to end?
Yeah.
Where is Trump driving the world? Unbelievable. But you know, one other aspect of this ceasefire which is interesting is interpretation.
Yeah.
You understand? The Pakistanis are saying that the ceasefire also covers the war with Hezbollah in the north of Israel.
Yeah, but Israel disagrees with that.
But Israel disagrees with that.
Yes.
So that's also an issue
Yes.
which needs to be looked at, you know.
In fact, the bombing and the shellings are continuing. Even last night.
Oh, yeah, but Iran was still raining, missiles on Israel, even as at this morning.
Yeah.
And so, but you see, there has been a ceasefire in Gaza. But in spite of the ceasefire, Israel on a daily basis is bombing Gaza. So Israel has no commitment to these international agreements. It does what it likes. It is continuing to bomb Gaza as of today. In fact, yesterday, 8 people were killed in Gaza.
Right.
Already, about 78,000 Palestinians have been killed, 2/3 of whom are women and children.
Right.
Where is Netanyahu taking the world? I'm happy that in Israel itself, citizens have begun protesting against the war.
Yeah.
Because they're beginning to realize the devastating impact it's having on the Israeli economy, Israeli infrastructure, and so on. And the prediction is that the protest against the war in Israel will continue to grow because the Israelis cannot see head or tail. They cannot see any benefits accruing to them from this senseless aggression against Iran. Let me stop here for a while.
Right. Donald Trump says, based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspending the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. Collins, what do you also make of what's happening?
So this morning when I woke up around 2, 3 a.m.,
yes,
I just grabbed my phone.
Yes.
Because I wanted to check whether the world order has changed based on Potu's threats on his handles.
Yes.
Then I saw that the crude oil price has dropped. So I just switched on to CNN. Then I saw that there's been a ceasefire.
Yeah.
My first reaction was, I thank God that at least there's a ceasefire. Then whilst driving here, I got 2 different ceasefire conditions, which is the one from the Iranians and the one that we all know about from the US.
Yes.
And I'm questioning, if you look at the 2 significant differences, the one that you read, the initial one.
Yes. But we've gone beyond that because Donald Trump has publicly stated that he's accepting the Iranian 10-point plan for peace.
He says it's workable.
It's workable.
Yes.
So that's clear.
But no, I mean, the US has also published 10 conditions. The one he read, the initial one.
So it's not the 15-point plan.
Yes, but the 10. But even the 10 that he read, there's a significant difference between that and the one you had just put on your platform.
So the one I read is from Iran, the 10-point plan.
No, but the one you read did not include a $2 million compensation.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, that is not part of the 10-point plan. That's extra.
Okay,
the Iranians are demanding the $2 million.
So this is Iran's 10-point peace plan. 1, guarantee no attack again. 2, permanent end to the war, not ceasefire. 3, end to Israeli strikes in Lebanon. 4, lifting of all of US sanctions on Iran. 5, end of war against Iranian allies. 6, in return, Iran opens Strait of Hormuz. 7, Hormuz fee of $2 million per ship. So it's contained here.
But it's not in the 10 points, the first one that you read.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's the same thing.
No. You see, the first one you read was complete cessation of war on Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen.
Okay.
And this one, it is complete permanent end of the war, not ceasefire, end to Israeli strikes in Lebanon.
Okay.
It leaves out what you read, Iraq and Yemen.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yes. So I'm saying that I see some significant differences in the initial one that you read as against what we are seeing.
You're right. The one I read initially didn't have the $2 million per ship.
There are some of them that reappear here.
Yes.
But some of them are quite different. But as I'm saying, this is just a ceasefire to allow for a 2-week negotiation.
Right.
The initial Israeli reaction tells me that this is going to be a very difficult 2 weeks. It's going to be a very, very difficult 2 weeks. We are not out of the woods yet.
Why do you say so?
Israel has already said that you should forget about Lebanon.
Yeah.
They are still going to strike Lebanon. This is one of the key conditions of Iran.
For Iran.
that if you want this thing to stop, you should stop striking Lebanon. Israel, which is a key part of this whole war, says that forget about Lebanon. In fact, if you look at Reuters' report, Israel says they agree with the U.S. decision for a 2-week ceasefire, but Lebanon is out.
But even that is not unanimous agreement, because there are several people close to Netanyahu who are saying that they disagree with Donald Trump.
So yes.
That's true.
So the point I'm making is that these 2 weeks is going to be a very, very tense 2 weeks. You say everybody who uses the street should pay 2 million. Who is going to pay for that? Is it so? If I am a private company, I buy oil, I own some ship and I buy oil. Just for using, I have to pay 2 million. Who's going to bear that extra cost? Is it the final consumer, like Ghana? Who's going to bear that cost? Especially, I'm just a rhetoric question. So US goes into a war. Iran is saying that you have to reconstruct my country. Why is it that they are not pushing for those who destroy the place to pay for that destruction?
It's a toll gate. And the concept is a toll gate.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the Iranian army would have to provide protection for vessels going through the strait. That comes with a cost.
I understand.
There are also administrative costs because you have to seek permission and so.
Okay, so if I am I'm from Oman, I'm not part of this whole war. I didn't bomb Iran, and an Oman ship is using the Strait of Hormuz. You are saying that, or based on Iran's condition, that ship owner in Oman must pay $2 million to use that Strait of Hormuz. But in order for that $2 million to be used to reconstruct what was destroyed.
Not just the reconstruction, it's a toll gate. There are costs involved in the maintenance of the strait.
But initially,
there are costs involved.
Yes, but initially there was nothing like that.
Yes, because there was no administrative requirement.
But the point I'm making now is that why are we charging people who have absolutely nothing to do with the destruction $2 million extra to use the strait? When the people who actually destroyed, why aren't you charging the US directly?
Yeah, but you must understand.
Let me explain. Let me explain.
But you must understand.
Let me explain to you. The facilities which were used in carrying out the war of aggression against Iran were provided by the oil and gas producing countries.
The military bases.
Exactly.
Okay.
So as far as Iran is concerned, they are complicit.
Oh, okay. So the point
is
so they are charging
Saudi Arabia is complicit.
That's fine. They are charging
allowing America to use your territory to bomb us.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that's the problem they have. In fact, you recall that during the war, they had told some countries within the Middle East who are housing American military bases that if you want us to stop bombing those military bases, then tell America to collapse those military bases. And that's why they kept bombing places like Bahrain and Oman and Kuwait and so on and so on, because of their military bases.
It is part of the 10-point plan upon which the ceasefire has been agreed, that the U.S. should dismantle its bases in the Gulf.
But we don't see that in the...
But that's...
So we don't see that. That's the point
some
I'm
of the
making.
plans are contained.
We don't see that in that 10-point that was given to us.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
for us,
this 2 weeks is going to be a very tough 2 weeks. Because some of the conditions Ankwesi is revealing to us, it's going to be a difficult discussion for US and Israel to accept some of those conditions. You get the point I'm making?
Yeah,
so
but
like
how
Asia.
did we end up with two different point plans?
Like Asia.
Something is...
Because the war is not just a battle of weapons. It's also a battle of ideas and information.
And public relations.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, this 2 weeks is going to be a very tough 2 weeks.
So it only buttresses the point.
I'm just praying that cool heads will prevail. Because what we've gone through within this 1 month, 2 weeks, even for us, Ghana, far away countries, we are feeling the brunt. Look at what the price at the pump. Look at the price at the pump. Insurance has gone up. Now you are going to charge extra 2 million. So if I say I'm in let's say Asia and I'm buying oil from Bahrain, Bahrain has to use the Strait of Hormuz. They are being charged 2 million extra. A typical business person will push that 2 million cost to the final consumer.
Yeah, of course.
Which is some of us. We take the final product.
You
so
see,
what is going to happen?
And I suspect that for Iran, the thinking is that the world sat aloof and watched America and Israel do what they do. So everybody must pay a price for it. I'm sure that's the thinking.
Well, that's a difficult one. That's the point I'm making.
I agree with you.
Some of the things, the revelations I'm getting from damage,
or the collateral consequences.
I foresee a very difficult negotiation going on within these 2 weeks.
I doubt the 2 million.
My fear is that observing Trump and his tweets, 3 days to the end of the 2 weeks, we may have another very, very explosive tweet. If they are unable to conclude all those negotiations. Let me congratulate the Pakistani Prime Minister who came in to bring this, at least.
But he's been at this for the past
this 2 weeks respite. At least now, oil price has dropped to over 100, below $100.
It's 93 now.
Which is fine, you see. Whether it will continue after 2 weeks is another matter. And now that...
But back home, what do we do?
Now that Ankwesi, as he put it, even before the ship crosses, you have to go through some administrative processes. The Iranian forces must take charge, ensure that everything is okay. You make payment of your $2 million before your ship goes through. Yes, we may have some supplies moving in, but it may not be as quick as we expected, because I can bet my mind that the Iranians will be extremely careful. Any ship that goes through that strait will be thoroughly searched. I'm telling you, they want to be very, very careful because they know that this is just a ceasefire. It's not the end of the war. So I'm sure there will be alerts because anything could happen.
But
anything could happen.
That's true. But back home, our own conversations have substantially centered on what do we do.
You see,
what options are available to us? Because prices are...
When this war broke out, the week that the war broke out, I had the privilege of coming on this platform. And if you remember, I made the point that gold prices will continue to rise.
Yes.
And that what we make out of the gold prices can then be used to offset, the increase in oil prices. I don't know if you read the Fitch report yesterday.
Yes, I did.
Said the same thing. Because if you read the Fitch report, which I read yesterday, it's obvious that we can offset the increase in oil prices with gold prices. But the prediction is that by the end of the year, gold prices will reach an all-time high.
Even though it's coming down now.
Yeah, 14%. It's 14% down now.
Yes.
But the prediction is that by the end of the year, we should hit an all-time high of around more than $4,000 per ounce.
Yeah.
More than $4,000 per ounce. Right now, it's trading around 2,000 something. I've forgotten the exact.
It's 2008.
2008.
Yes.
By the end of the year, it will exceed 4,000.
Right.
That's a lot of money. You understand? Of course, commodity prices are not that reliable. So many factors can affect commodity prices, especially predictions, futures, and so on. But this is the outlook that Fitch presented, I think, on the 28th of March. This report is dated 28th of March, you understand? So there are indications that Ghana may have the capacity to withstand the difficulties. I've been listening to His Excellency, the President, and the people in charge of energy and so on. I've been listening to them, and they are talking about the national reserves that we have. And they're talking about, I think, a 6-week reserve.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure that a 6-week reserve is adequate.
It's actually 5.
Unfortunately, that's...
Given the crisis we have.
Even that 6 weeks do not...
Because this crisis can go into months, possibly 1 year or more.
Well, there's a temporary
ceasefire. So a 5-week reserve does not make me very comfortable. Okay. Of course, the president is talking about replenishing the stocks.
To 15.
Yeah,
15
says we are replenishing the stocks and so on. But we need to take that very seriously. Because we cannot be comfortable with a 5 to 6 week reserve.
Because even the 5 to 7 weeks, that oil does not belong to Ghana. It belongs to individuals. That's the danger. I mean, BOST, as you know, as a strategic reserve, has not received enough funding. And it's not just this government. I'm talking about successive governments focus on WOST. I mean, in times like this, maybe we can have a critical look at the purpose of establishment of WOST as a strategic reserve. If in all this crisis, WOST had enough strategic reserve that belonged to the state, we could then push that one inside into the economy at a cheaper price. So even the 7 weeks that MPA talked about, they know that Ghana does not own that 7 weeks, still belongs to individuals.
Right.
And their motive is profits. So they will always price in accordance with the world market price. But I think in the medium to long term, that reserve that Angosi talked about, we have to look at, focus our attention on BOST, operations of BOST, to see how best they can stand on their feet as a strategic reserve for the country. Again, Angosi, in the budget, we use $76.2 in our calculation. So obviously, now that it's gone over the $100, we are going to make some rainfall also. In addition to the goal that Angosi talked about, we are going to make an additional rainfall in terms of our, because we're an oil-producing country. And I think the better calculation we've done, it can, this short time, you can get, by the end of the year, close to about 8 billion in terms of extra money that is going to come in. Because we use 76 and now it has gone above $100. So
you're talking
yes,
8 billion cedis.
Cedis. So what I'm saying is that apart, in addition to that rainfall that we are getting from gold, there's another rainfall that we can also get from oil, because we are an oil producing country and we sell at the international market.
Yeah, but again, it's back to
there's something else.
Okay.
You see, if you take the price build-up, petroleum products, the price build-up, you find that we are using a benchmark price, ex-Rotterdam.
Yes.
Yes.
Inside that, there could be some huge amounts. Ex-Rotterdam just means that we assume that we are buying refined products from Rotterdam at this cost.
Yeah.
It's an assumed price.
Right.
Within that assumed price, there could be margins.
Right.
You understand?
That's true.
There could be margins. So I'm not that worried. I mean, if government lives up to its responsibility, and I think that the first major responsibility of government is to balance things, to see where there are difficulties and to see where there are no difficulties and to balance things. That's the primary responsibility of government.
Yeah, but I'm sure. Yes, we have called for a review of some of the levies and tax, at least in the meantime, whilst we go through this difficult time, especially when there are some extra windfall that is coming in from gold.
Yesterday, John Jinapor said any attempts to touch any of the levies or taxes would create some problems.
No, it's not. I mean, in respect to my brother John, I mean, these were some of the solutions he gave when he was in opposition. I remember he was here. He says, "Oh, government has two options. You have to review some of the levies and taxes, or use your rainfall." Now, even the rainfall is not just coming from the crude oil; it's coming from gold.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure if it is out of place for the opposition or for the individual Ghanaians to request for some review on some of the taxes, especially when you can make up,
you see,
from other sources.
The dramatic gains which have been made in the economy over the last 13 months or so would not continue. Okay, we may still be able to maintain some of the gains, but they will not be as dramatic as they have been in the last year. And I suspect that's what Honorable John Jinapor is talking about. And to bring inflation down from 20-something% within a spate of months to 3.3% is so dramatic. I haven't seen it in Ghana before. I haven't, quite honestly. That's so dramatic. If you look at the value of the cedi in relation to the dollar, for example, the change was very dramatic.
Okay.
You know, very, very dramatic. Now, given the current crisis, I am not expecting these dramatic changes to occur. And that may be a worry for government.
Okay.
You know.
All right. I don't think it is out of place. In fact, His Excellency himself has indicated that he's looking at options, especially with the tax build-up and the levies build-up on the petroleum prices. And there's an emergency cabinet meeting happening on Thursday also. I suspect, Uncle, I don't think that, as you said, this war is not going to end today. And I'm not too sure they can keep all the levies and taxes
You
as it is
are
now.
not optimistic at all.
No, I'm busy from the way things are going. But I'm saying, even if not for anything else, I've seen other countries suspend, at least for 3 months, for 6 months, to see how things are going to pan out. I don't think it's out of place if government takes a decision to take out some of the levies and taxes on petroleum builder to reduce the price at the pump.
My brother, Donald Trump has no option than to stop this war. If he continues with this war, there will be regime change in the U.S. If he continues this war, no doubt they will lose the midterm elections big time.
I'm sure he's
Congress will fall into the hands of Democrats, Senate will fall into the hands of Democrats, and that puts him in peril. You understand? Already look at the calls for his removal based on the 25th Amendment. And the doubts about his sanity, which is being expressed by top U.S. politicians and so on. So Donald Trump is in trouble. He has to end this war or face the consequences himself. And I don't think that he's suicidal.
No, whilst he wait for him to end the war, Ghanaians also need some respite. We are just appealing to the president that as they go to the cabinet meeting, they should come out and reduce some of the taxes and levies on the petroleum products.
So you're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Please stay with us. But before then, let me tell you this, that there's some very interesting developments in Iran. There's some massive protests happening there. My production team was just telling me. Apparently, some Iranians are not happy with the acceptance of the ceasefire deal, the 2-week ceasefire, conditional ceasefire deal. It's interesting, isn't it? So let's watch this video.
So what are they protesting?
Why should we ceasefire? Obviously, here it is written, Strait of Hormuz will remain closed. Now it has opened again.
Whatever our leader says goes. We are obedient to him. Whatever His Excellency says, we obey the leader's command. Not a step ahead, nor a step behind. If he deems it appropriate, we will have a ceasefire. If not, we are ready to stay in the streets and fight forever.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
of Ghana's was classified as poor.
This is First Generation Show, the program for smart children.
First Generation! Children, are you ready?
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the school's homecoming show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
They say art is a symbol because man is a symbol. Symbols are a depiction of life. They communicate the intangibles and leaves the mind awakened by the wonders of life. Our folkloric symbol show talks about our symbols in connection to our history, religion, and society's norms and traditions, from the north down to the south and in between.
The animal is called Le. But because they are found on the hill out there, the name of the hill became Le-Bon, which means when you go there, you get more of the le to hunt or you take them as game.
Join us on our folkloric symbol show every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Metro TV.
Yeah, welcome to Junction 5 Lounge. Bar, grill, chill.
You know, say me the Lord for the whole area. Me the control every street for here. My name is Lord Gaza.
Lord Gaza.
You do hear they mix liquor and things. I beg you, before do what? For gather some vim. The bar, otherwise, I think gather boys. You are bad you now. I see.
Landlord, I beg this one. I beg you for understanding the law. As young people, you need to be able to make decisions that will better your lives.
If you gave this money to me, Jane, I would have bought you nice clothes, like look nice, change my nails, like.
Oh, lift it.
Hey, it be such God answer prayers.
Nanama Ejewa, is this the class you're supposed to be taking?
Please.
Nanama,
Please,
is this really happening? What be the source of your word?
What's the source of your poverty?
Are you bad this?
Coconut.
Are you bad this?
Coconut that.
Fast.
Point of correction. I no be Lord Gaza anymore. If you call me Yao.
Oh, Brian.
Hey, all this we should call you this one. Brian for where?
Well, I'm done, stand up. Hey, see now what I'm doing there. You can't see me.
Your lounge has been placed at number 10. But after today,
number
I think,
10?
Yeah. After today, I think I'll place you guys at number 5, depending on the taste of your food. Yes.
When Ginny scared about a child and said, "Hey, okay, you're thinking about what? What is going on with you?"
You know one thing, you guys are so incompetent these days. Look here, I'm talking to you, you know that's the truth.
Supplies! You're surprised I've surprised you.
Lord Gaza. M-H-O-V. Lord Gaza.
Basu.
Boss, will they come?
I say you did lie. Me, I did lie. You did lie. How the girl feel you?
what was all this drama of coming to my class late today?
I told you I'm pregnant. What are you doing about it?
I said, Abado, why make up so?
Hey, what police are being teaching you? Shall we Phoebe? Shall not say I pass our bravo?
But why are you saying that?
That girl is a charlatan. It's a wolf in a sheep's clothing. A prostitute in disguise.
Abaya come at so. Na bla ubo college mu ha eye.
My friend said if she come and call. Since I'm call bomb, don't come and spoil my spiritual mood for me.
But you the other time the running way, Charlie, I take no you chop
running?
My food no.
Do you know how hungry I was that day?
For no say if you running there. If I bring am for no. One more thing, I will embark on a project like 1 boy, 3 girlfriends.
Now, therefore, the new patriotic party, together with the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, demand the following: the immediate realignment of President Mahama's priorities. Say that sovereignty resides in the people. Therefore, President John Dramani Mahama must realign his priorities in line with the real priorities of the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, specifically the 93% of Ghanaians who, according to the CDD Ghana Afrobarometer survey, consider the practices of LGBTQ and related activities highly repugnant to the societal values and religious beliefs. Second, an apology to the clergy, to the imams, Muslim clerics, and traditional leaders. The NDC and President John Dramani Mahama must apologize to the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, GPCC, and all other ecumenical bodies, the office of the chief imam, and our imams, our Muslim clerics, traditional rulers, and concerned CSOs for the double standards and contradictory priorities demonstrated between the period of opposition and now in power. Additionally, we call on the clergy, our Muslim clerics, communal bodies, traditional rulers, the civil society organizations to call out the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama on their U-turn on LGBT issues to maintain their spirited advocacy for the passage of the pending bill. We urge the Majority Leader, Honorable Mahama Yarga, and the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, to ensure the swift passage of the reintroduced bill without further delayed tactics orchestrated by the deletion of the advertised bill from the order paper only to be relisted after 7 months of pressure. When we put pressure on them, they relisted it. Clearly, somebody was receiving instruction from the Jubilee House and showing them and whipping them on which priorities they should attend to. And to those of our colleagues who still are part of this bill and who promised Ghanaians that when President Mahama is voted into power, if he drags his feet on the legislation, they will mount pressure. They will put pressure. We are waiting to hear that pressure, to see that pressure.
Regarding LGBTQ plus issues, it remains a highly emotive and sensitive issue, even in the most advanced liberal democracies. I explained during my recent engagement with the World Affairs Council that it's not the most important issue we face as a nation. We're still grappling with the provisions of basic needs of education, healthcare, jobs, food, clothing, and shelter. Nevertheless, the private members' bill introduced in Parliament has sparked a complex and sensitive national conversation. Our position is guided by our Constitution, respect for human rights and dignity of all persons, and the need to preserve social cohesion. While there are strong and differing views within our society, we believe that these issues must be addressed through democratic processes, our core values, dialogue, and the rule of law. I'm also mindful of reactions from our international partners including the recent developments such as Lincoln University's withdrawal of their honorary doctorate. These developments underscore the importance of continued engagement and mutual respect, and of situating our national decisions within our constitutional and cultural context. Ghana will continue to uphold its democratic values while engaging constructively with the international community.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My guests are still here. Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr. is the former managing editor of the Insight newspaper and also a veteran journalist. Also with us here is Collins Adomako Mensah, who is the MP for the Ifija-Kwabre North constituency and also a former deputy minister for energy. We will now look at some other issue which I think must have started a few weeks back, but it looks like it's taking a different turn now, because now there's a press conference which has been organized by the minority in Parliament, and you saw the video we just played you earlier, and the MP for Asin South, Reverend John Intim-Forjo, was addressing the press on the matter of LGBTQ+. It was topical before the 2024 elections, and it looks like it's back again on the front burner. Now, the Ghanaian Times this morning is reporting that MPP is called for swift passage of anti-LGBTQ+ bill. And the story is by one Bernard Bengam, who is a reporter of the Ghanaian Times, who says the New Patriotic Party has called for the swift passage of the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, often referred to as the anti-LGBTQ+ bill, as promised during the 2024 campaign by the NDC. The party stated that the NDC during its time in opposition made LGBTQ+ issues a central tool in its campaign, and they even staged demonstrations against the NPP government. They therefore argued that the NDC should prioritize fulfilling its promise to pass the bill. Speaking at a press conference yesterday at the party's headquarters in Accra, the Member of Parliament for Asin South, Reverend John Intim-Forjo, said Ghanaians were demanding the immediate passage of the bill, noting that many citizens support it. For years, the NDC weaponized this Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, using it as a political tool to engage eminent clergy, imams, revered traditional leaders, and the good people of Ghana. Today, having secured power through what we describe as a grand deception, the government has shifted its stance and abandoned the very cause it championed so loudly while in opposition. The same promise used to win the election has not been prioritized since assuming office. Reverend Forjo said, he said the NDC's position had been firmly supported and assertively promoted by its members of parliament who engage communities, the media, religious leaders, civil society groups, and traditional authorities to portray the NPP government as indecisive and disconnected from Ghanaian moral values. He added that the NDC also accused the previous government of delaying the bill's assent due to dependence on foreign aid, while presenting its flag bearer as an uncompromising defender of family values. However, the moment the NDC assumed power in 2025, the narrative began to change. The strong rhetoric of opposition was quickly replaced by procedural caution. In January 2025, when the Catholic Bishops' Conference met with President Mahama to urge him to pass the bill, he signaled his intent to introduce fresh government-sponsored legislation that would be more strictly and comprehensively address LGBTQ+ practices and related activities in Ghana. Now, during the 2024 elections campaign, the then candidate John Dramani Mahama explicitly pledged to sign the bill into law if elected. He even accused the NPP government of delaying its assent due to reliance on foreign aid. He further stated that in November 2025, during a courtesy visit by the Christian Council of Ghana to the Jubilee House, the president reaffirmed his administration's opposition to same-sex marriage and pledged to sign the bill if passed by Parliament. He described the president's recent comment that the bill would not be a government priority as unfortunate. Collins, the government says when Ghanaians wake up every day, LGBTQ+ is not the first thing on their mind. They're thinking about the bread and butter issues, my roads, water, electricity, prices of food, transportation, prices of fuel, etc. Those are the things that are bothering Ghanaians. And so how then do we think that LGBTQ plus should be a matter which must be dealt with now? It is not a priority. Do you agree or disagree that this is not a priority?
Uncle Kwesi will always say politicians don't learn. When we lost the elections, I remember I was here with Uncle Kwesi. And then one of the reasons our party gave for the loss, I remember, was that, our people didn't turn out to vote. Then Uncle Kwesi said, Collins, not turning out to vote in itself is a vote. You know, after this election, I've been quiet and having discussion with colleagues. Bro, there's a silent majority of Ghanaians. They don't talk. They don't complain. They just keep things quietly and then they'll take a decision at the right time. If the president is saying that today LGBT is not a priority, no problem. There is a group of Ghanaians who listened to him before the elections, who listened to officials of his governments before the elections, who now are even cabinet ministers, who put the issue at the front burner. If today the president says it's not at the front burner and it's at the back burner, no problem. There's a group of Ghanaians watching us, listening to the president, listening to all the rhetorics that is going on. And that's Uncle Kwesi said. They will take a decision at the right time. I'm not going to challenge the president, whether it's a priority or not. If he says today that LGBTQ is not a priority, so be it. No problem. The good people are watching and listening. Those who saw chiefs, imams, pastors come to parliament on a daily basis, sit in the public gallery. They listened to our debates. They heard Sam George. They heard the NDC in opposition make arguments about LGBTQ. If today is not a priority, no problem. The same people are watching. Maybe they will not come to parliament to sit, or they will not talk. But when the time is right, they will know whether you are double standing or portraying a certain character. I'm not the one to judge. So if the president says it's not a priority, that's fine. The president says there's bread and butter issues. I lie. That's what the president said. Okay, no problem. Maybe in 2024, when Akufo-Addo was there was no bread and butter issue. The only bread and butter issue was LGBTQ. So if today the bread and butter issue have changed from LGBTQ to construction of roads, to schools, to hospitals, so be it. The good people of Ghana are watching and they are listening. At the appropriate time, a decision will be made. That's what I have to say. So I will not have any comments with the president.
But I fault you for this, Collins. When I say you, not asking as an individual, I fault you, your party, when you're in government for this. Nana Addo should have just signed. It would have saved all of us all this trouble.
I'll respond to that.
Yes, you should have just signed.
Nana Addo didn't sign.
Yes.
He didn't sign?
Yes.
Okay. So you are a journalist. Yeah. What did the NDC say when Nana Addo didn't sign? Muru. I say you are a journalist. Nana Addo didn't sign.
They pressured him to sign.
Nana Addo didn't sign.
Yes.
Nana Addo wasn't signing. What did Muru, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, say when Nana Addo did not sign? What did Sam George say when Nana Addo didn't sign? Were we not told that if within 3 months His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, if he does not sign, he will know no peace? Muru, you have been playing some of these videos here.
Yes, we played it.
That's no problem. I don't have any problem if Nana Addo didn't sign. You take the blame. MPP, Nana Addo, he didn't sign. No problem. But what did you promise the Ghanaian people when you were coming? You say, oh, Nana Addo, he didn't sign. It's true, he didn't sign. In fact, on campaign platform, he said a vote for Bawumia is a vote for homosexuality. That's what I said. Now you are being told that Parliament has, 8 Parliament has what has passed. So the thing has to start again. But there were 3 times, 4 times members of Parliament who know the procedures in Parliament, who know very well that when the bill is not passed within a certain time, it has to start again. But they were promising Ghanaians that when they come, they'll sign. In fact, the president even said that, oh, he's prepared to take it as a government bill. So if today is not a priority, as for me, I'm not even arguing with the president. No problem. Nana Addo didn't sign. MPP didn't sign. Ghanaians punish us for that ally. you promise them that, oh, don't worry, we will sign when we come. These people are not for it. When we come, we'll sign. So if the president comes and say it's not a priority, and I mean, the people watching us, the people listening to me, they know what is right. They know who is playing double standards. At the appropriate time, the decision will be made.
Okay.
You know,
we're back again.
There's something which is really amazing. I see the new Patriotic Party in a stampede to become the new NDC. And that's very shocking. What is being said? We were in power. We didn't sign the LGBT bill into law. You understand? We didn't. NDC promised to sign and they won elections. Now we are in opposition. We are insisting that they should do what we didn't do. Now we are the most strident advocates for signing the bill.
Obviously,
do you understand what is happening?
I don't intend to obstruct you.
No, please, you can. You can.
The MPP is not saying that they should do what we didn't do.
Did you listen to the press conference?
The MPP is saying that do what you promised. That's what the MPP is saying.
Which is what we didn't do.
The MPP is saying do what you promised.
Which is what we didn't do.
We didn't do it, but you promised to do it. Do it.
Fantastic.
Do it. Why are you not telling us that now you will not do it?
Master, Collins, please, don't do that to yourself.
No, I'm just telling you.
What you are saying is that today, you have taken the place of the NDC and are insisting that the NDC should do what you didn't do.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
You have become the new NDC.
Yes.
You are fitting into the shoes of the NDC. I would have thought that you would rather build your party as something different from the NDC. You understand? But that is not what is happening. In any case, and Moro, please bear me out. My position on this matter from day one, and Collins, I'm sure you bear me out, has been that, look, what two people do in their bedroom is not my business. I've always said that. It's not my business. In fact, I've said that if you go and place a hidden camera in the bedrooms of men and women who are married, what you would see, my goodness, you can handle. Okay? So that's not my business. My focus has always been on what to do in order to promote the ends of development. And I've been very consistent on this matter. Okay. Now, my worry is that I don't want my grandchild to go to school and be taught some of the things which were proposed to be taught in the schools. I don't even want to repeat them. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I have an objection to imposing a certain romantic sexual order on children. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But why? Don't do it in my face. Don't do it in anybody's face. I mean, whatever you want, it's up to you. You understand? So that has been my stand. Now, what are the facts? As we speak now, there is no bill before the president for his signature.
That's true.
That's
true.
There's no bill before the president.
Could the bill expire with the previous parliament?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you call the president to sign a bill? What bill? There's no bill.
It doesn't exist.
He cannot sign a bill which does not exist.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's strange. Some of these demands are strange. Now, interestingly, the NPP is in parliament. And the NPP can initiate the process now. Why is it not initiating the process now?
We have. The MPP is part of the bill, the private members bill.
New one?
Yes. Members of parliament from the NPP.
So move it in parliament.
We
Why are you
moved
holding press conferences?
I'm telling you, it appeared on the order paper as far back as before even Christmas. It was taken off.
Who took it off?
Leadership. It was taken off.
Leadership.
In fact, the majority leader came on the floor and said that there was an administrative error when there was none. I'm telling the Angbesi, if the president wants to go to...
Is that not where you should be tackling this problem? If you are so committed to passing a bill which makes homosexuality illegal, is that not what you should be fighting then? Are you holding press conferences to call the president to sign non-existent bills?
We are holding press conferences to even push the speaker to make this a priority on the floor.
No problem.
Yes, to make it a
But
priority
when
on
you
the
hold a
floor.
press conference and you call on the president to sign a bill which does not exist, what
A
are you
private
telling me?
members bill was brought to parliament.
Has it been passed?
A private members bill was brought to parliament by the majority leader and the majority chief whip
Yeah.
to take out the OSP. The president directed that bill to be dropped. That's how powerful the president is. If he wants it done, it will be done. It is just not a priority, and he has said it.
Collins,
I'm telling you.
Please don't surprise me.
No, because I'm not surprising you.
Now let me make
I'm
the
not
point.
surprising you at all.
Please, now let me make the point. One of the cardinal principles of this democratic experiment we are engaged in is the principle of separation of powers. When members of parliament invite the president to interfere in their work, I have a problem. Because it completely undermines that principle, which we claim to be upholding.
Now, President should have had a problem when the president requested for the private members bill on the OSP.
And who said I didn't have a problem?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Who said I
okay,
didn't have a
okay,
problem?
okay, that's fine.
You understand?
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
when you have a situation now
That's fine.
where members of parliament who are supposed to protect their independence,
Right.
who are supposed to respect the principle of the separation of powers and so on, are now inviting the president to lead them in their work, to tell them what to do, then there's a huge problem.
Right.
You understand? And I think we should avoid that kind of situation. Mhm. For those of you who feel that today, in Ghana today, what is most important is an LGBTQ bill, push it. It is your democratic right. Push it to the final conclusion. You know, insist on the majority leader explaining what he meant by administrative error. If it's not correct, challenge him using all the processes. Fight it. It's your right. You understand? But if you take a posture that everything we didn't do for which the NDC criticized us, and for which we think they got votes to form the government and so on, we would now do, then it seems to me that we are in a stampede to become the new NDC. And that is not, it's not an excellent position to be in.
We don't want to be NDC. We are citizens of Ghana.
Sure.
We are citizens.
Sure.
We have the right to request a certain president to fulfill promises he made as part of their manifesto. I don't think it's
promises
wrong.
that you disagree with,
Ankwesi,
to all intents and
no,
purposes.
Ankwesi,
So why
we
don't you
have
take
every
the
right
position?
as citizens?
Massa, you have every
We have
right.
every right as citizens.
No problem.
Yes.
You have every.
Yes.
What would it sound like if you came and said, "Oh, we were right"? Huh? When our president refused to sign the bill, he was right. Now the NDC has seen the light. So we actually praise the NDC for recognizing its mistake and so on. That's a different language. That's a different line. It's a different line from coming to say that, oh, we didn't sign the bill. We were wrong. The NDC was right. Let the NDC fulfill the promises it made. These are two different statements. Two different contexts. Now you have elected to become the new NDC. Oh, we were wrong. NDC was right. So let NDC do what they thought was right in opposition. That's the position you have taken.
Well, we see.
These are two different
I
positions.
get that. But
Yes.
there's a more fundamental issue.
Yes.
Why the change in posture? Why?
When you see...
No, I'm not asking you as a spokesperson for any party, but I'm
Yeah.
just asking that if somebody wants to ask, if somebody's asking this question, which is, why has the NDC slowed down?
Legitimate question.
The NDC was in a hurry
Master,
for something to
do know
happen.
something.
All of a sudden, it's dragging its feet. What has changed?
That's a legitimate question.
Yes.
That's a legitimate question. You're sitting here. I can remember what Sam George and others did in Parliament.
Yeah.
I can remember the coalitions they built. I can remember the threats which were issued.
Yeah.
Demonstrations.
And the demonstrations. I remember all of that. You know, so I'll be very hypocritical if I pretend not to know
All right.
what was done with this whole fight about LGTB. I know it. I know what was done. Now, today, I think it is legitimate for any citizen to ask why they are not seeing that same level of vim, energy, and so on. It's a legitimate question to ask, okay? And I have no problems with raising those legitimate questions. What I'm saying is that here is the New Patriotic Party, which, when in power, did not sign the bill. Okay? For whatever reason, did not sign the bill. NDC promised that when they come to power, they will push the bill through, they will sign it. It will become law. Now the NPP comes and says, oh, we lost elections because we didn't sign the bill. Okay. Now, NDC, you are also not signing the bill. Why are you not signing the bill? When it's a good thing to sign the bill. So sign the bill. That's my problem.
So that's when did the NPP realize it was a good thing to do?
Exactly. When? So then you begin to sense an element of political opportunism.
But I'm questioning, so
political opportunism.
So NDC didn't use this as politics. They themselves.
Were you happy with it? Were you happy?
You say we are being political opportunists.
Master, were you happy?
I'm questioning, you are saying we are being political opportunists.
Master, were you happy?
Today, my brother Sam George is quiet.
Master,
in fact, Sam George was at the meeting when the president said it was not a priority.
No, Sam George said he has done his part.
Which is
this tweet?
Which is?
It's all Charlie. He's done his part. He's tired.
Tired already.
He said the Twitter should also continue.
He cannot be tired.
Oh. Let me look for that.
He cannot be.
I'm not saying nobody is
contesting. It trended the whole of
nobody is contesting what you're saying.
Right.
But there's an element of surprise. I mean, something that these politicians were so passionate about.
Yeah.
They were ready to fight.
Yes.
They were ready to organize demonstrations and so on.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they say, we've done our part, let them be high. But that's a problem.
That's the point,
You understand? That's a problem.
It's a problem.
That's a problem. There's no doubt at all it's a problem.
Yes.
But you guys, you also have a problem.
So now we can't talk about it.
No.
We are citizens,
At least we are consistent. Be consistent. We are also inconsistent. You are calling for consistency. You are very inconsistent.
No, you can't be calling for equity when your hands are
I'm going to make an interesting point that the bill is not before the president. I'm going to say, those who were saying that when Mr. Mahama comes to become president, within 3 weeks, within 1 month, he will sign. They knew that when a bill passes at a certain parliament, it has to start all over again. But we're promising the people that when we come to sign.
So are you expecting them to do the impossible?
So, but what?
Because you admit that it is impossible.
But they were promising the impossible.
So they should do the impossible because they promised the impossible. What kind of politics
no,
is
but
this?
I'm going to see. You have to
You
understand.
know that it is impossible.
They
promised the impossible. So
but they promised the impossible and
about?
convinced people to vote on the basis of that impossible. Now you are being forced to do the impossible. You are worried about it.
Oh, so you know you are forcing them to do the impossible.
I'm going to see. But you know the I'm going to see. So they knew that it was impossible. They knew that the bill must start all over again.
But you also know that it's
Hey, my goodness. So why were they promising the people that when we can go sign?
So you know it is impossible.
Why did you accept that at the time? I'm going to see.
No, but you know it's impossible.
I'm going to see on the basis of principle. you on the basis of principle. I'm going to see. Why did you accept it at that time? When they said when they come, they will sign it.
Me.
Oh, I'm going to see.
Me.
They will sign it.
I
know. I'm not. Not to him personally.
You know the difficulties that the past government had in signing the bill. So why are you giving the NDC pressure?
Oh, sir. So why were they giving us pressure?
Master, look. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Reality check.
Reality check.
Master, I beg you. The climate which existed.
Okay, at the time.
In the Akufo-Addo government.
Reality check.
It's a completely different climate from now.
Tell me what
on this LGBTQ.
Yes, let me explain. During the Akufo-Addo period, we had a U.S. administration which was willing or ready to impose sanctions on countries which enacted laws against LGBT.
True.
Now you don't have that.
So they should sign it.
Fantastic.
Let's sign it then.
Hold on. Now you don't have that.
Yes.
Now you have a Trump administration which is itself anti-LGBTQ.
So they should sign
You
it
understand?
now.
So the conditions now
are
far more favorable
Absolutely.
than the Akufo-Addo
So
time.
they should sign.
But you agree with me?
Yes, but they should sign.
Sign what?
I think it's favorable, they should sign.
Sign what?
The conditions are favorable.
Yes, sign what?
Sign the bill.
So where is the bill? Where is the bill?
They are not pushing it in Parliament.
But there's no bill to sign.
No, I'm going to see the point I'm making is that if they want this bill to pass, they'll pass it under certificate of urgency. They've done it so many times.
Yeah, Master, Collins, there's no
You're
bill
not getting
to
my
sign.
point.
You say sign the bill. And there's
No. The members of Parliament, the NDC members of Parliament, they bring bills to Parliament under a certificate of urgency.
So
and it is passed within 24 hours.
Okay, so Collins,
if they are so minded and they are very, very for this particular bill, they would have pushed it through long time ago.
So
the fact that they've not pushed it to tell you that the stance of government is clear.
So why don't you take a position that the NDC members of Parliament should bring the bill even under a certificate of emergency? Why are you taking the position that the president should sign a bill which is non-existent?
The president should push. The president can push. When the president sits in Jubilee and says that it's not a priority.
But you have just agreed
the president saying that
should not interfere in the work of Parliament.
The president has already been interfering.
So he should continue.
He has interfered.
So he should continue.
When he interfered, who complained about it? The president has interfered. Members of his own government members of his parliament brought a private member of OSP. The president sat at Jubilee and said, withdraw it.
Yeah.
It was withdrawn. That tells you how powerful the president is. If the president wants this bill to be a priority on the floor, it will be.
Okay.
So if the president sits at Jubilee and says it's not a priority, how is it? How is members of parliament would make it a priority? He has essentially quashed the bill by that statement.
Okay.
That is not a priority. If it's not a priority for him as a president.
Collins.
The priority does not mean that
this is Collins who says that
he's against the bill.
Master.
Muru.
Collins. Are you saying?
As I said, I'm with
Collins. Can I
ask you
just a question?
Okay,
just an innocent question.
I know your innocent questions. I'm with
Are you saying that it is okay for the president to interfere with the work of Parliament? Are you saying that?
He has been interfering.
So it should continue.
But you see, the point I'm Ankwesi. You see,
it should continue.
No, Ankwesi. It's unfair when
it's either a no.
No, Ankwesi. No,
yes.
your question is not a yes or no.
Innocent question.
No, it's not a yes or no question. If the president interferes, you don't complain. People don't talk about it. They don't speak against it.
So it should
now
continue.
we are pushing him to do another thing. You say that it's wrong.
So it should continue.
Oh, please, Ankwesi. Okay, Moro, as I said.
Moro, I have nothing more to say.
Moro, my last point.
Right.
Moro,
I'm listening.
the people watching us, the people listening to us, the Ghanaians who witnessed the 2024 elections, the Ghanaians who saw the president meet the clergy and promise the clergy to a standing ovation that he is an Assemblies of God person. And by our customs, he is against homosexuality. And that Akufo-Addo failed to sign. He, as a president, is going to ensure that it is done. When demonstrations were held in this country, Ghanaians saw it. When pastors and Muslims, imams, through parliament, sat in the public gallery, gave pressure to members of parliament to ensure that a bill is passed. They are watching. They are listening to the rhetoric and the change of language and the mood. They are watching. If the president says it's not a priority again, fine. The Methodist bishop, they are watching. If it's not a priority, no problem, Mr. President.
So still,
we don't have a problem. Let me say it's not a priority. The Ghanaians are watching.
Let's just stick to the issue of consistency. I asked earlier that why is it that during the MPP's time, the NDC was in a hurry for the bill to be passed, and why all of a sudden we see a certain feet-dragging attitude or posture by the NDC?
Why all of a sudden
now,
the NPP
I'm also going
is
to ask you
also
the
in
same
a hurry
thing. Yes.
for the bill
I'm also
to
going
be
to
passed.
ask you the same thing, which is that why is that during your time, during your tenure, I didn't see a lot of MPP people speak with passion as you're doing now. You were dragging your feet, and all of a sudden, you want the bill to be passed and you're in a hurry. What has also changed?
It's the new NDC. That's all. It's the new NDC.
No, it's still NDP.
There's
nothing like a new NDC.
We are not NDC.
Yes.
We are.
You
So
want
the question
to be
is, why are you now? Why are you now in a hurry?
NDC in opposition.
Because
you think that
you were not in a hurry in the past. All of a sudden, you're in a hurry. Why? What has changed?
Because they think that is how you win an election.
How can you say so? How can you say so?
Master, I like.
Moro.
Anyway,
They think that that's how to win an
Right.
election. If you want to win an election, you have to be like the NDC in your position. So NPP now is the NDC in your opposition.
Collins disagrees.
The people of Ghana, you are watching us.
Okay.
You are listening to us.
Right. But
the presidency
Collins, let me.
It's not a priority.
Yes.
No problem.
Let me
At
ask
the
you this,
appropriate time.
Collins, let me ask
I'm
you
sure
this.
you're going to speak.
Can we treat a private member's bill and the certificate of urgency?
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes. In fact, the one that they brought, the OSP, the one that the majority leader brought,
It's a
it was
private
referred to a committee I'm a member of,
Okay.
which is the Committee on Private Members' Bill. And
Right.
the certificate of urgency.
Okay. My second question to you is this: the bill which is dead by virtue of the expiration of the old Parliament.
Yeah.
Can a private member bring the same bill back to Parliament?
That's what they brought. And
the same thing.
Yes, they brought. Just that the
No
members,
amendments,
the
nothing.
promoters have changed.
Have changed.
Interestingly, they are proposing some changes
to the same bill.
To the bill, but they wanted Mr. Akufo-Addo to sign the old bill. But they are now saying that there are certain things in the bill that infringe on human rights.
But those were the issues that were taken to court during Akufo-Addo's, and then Akufo-Addo.
But this parliament is different from that parliament.
Okay.
Even in terms of its composition. It
and
is
all.
possible
Okay.
that new members of parliament may find problems with the old bill and may suggest changes.
That's an
What is
interesting
the
point.
problem?
No, it's a problem.
How is that a problem?
Now the NDC, they are about 180 something members.
Yeah.
180 something members. They were pushing Akufo-Addo to sign the bill, and the people.
It's not the 180 something members who are pushing Akufo-Addo to sign the bill.
I'm coming.
You know that.
I'm coming. The old bill that they wanted Akufo-Addo to sign, now they want some amendment to the bill. What it tells you is that the old bill has some challenges, but they wanted Akufo-Addo to sign.
Okay.
Now you're looking for amendments. Bring the old bill for Mr. JM to sign, His Excellency. Bring it. The same bill, bring it for him to sign. Akufo-Addo there, fine. His Excellency JM there, this is amendment. I say Ghanaians are watching. They are listening. They know who's playing double standards in this game. At the appropriate time, a decision will be made. Period.
They also know who is trying to copy who.
No problem. The Ghanaians are watching.
All right. So Jennifer, I want us to look at. I want us to look at another issue before we have about let's say 30 minutes to go. You know, the matter of sole source contracts or single source contracts has come up. Single source contracts.
Again.
Yes. You know, there's been some development.
Okay.
You know, the president has asked that the fourth estate, is it Suleiman's private fourth estate? Yes. He's asked them to bring the report they conducted on, or they published on sole source or single source contracts for some actions to be taken. Now, the group is happy. They've commended the president for that. And so we are being told that, in fact, Suleiman Ibrahim himself has tweeted that they have submitted the report to the president. Fellow Fosu Kwache tells us that he doesn't know whether the president has received it, and he's yet to confirm and come back to us on that. But be that as it may, let's say they've done their part. Then some kinds of details are beginning to emerge, and must have been 3 or 4 days ago, Felix Ofosu Kwache then tweeted on this same matter and has been bringing us some more details on this sole source contract, single source contract matter, something we didn't know before. Do you have any videos you want to play? Okay. So he says that, and I want to read this in order to trigger this conversation on single source contracts. I mean, when I saw it, I said, okay, that's interesting because we didn't know this. Felix Ofosu Kwache, please bear with me. I would. Okay, so now it says the clarification by Honorable Felix Kwache Ofosu brings much more needed transparency to the discussion around the road contracts. Apparently, out of 930 contracts, only 88 since the NDC came have been single sourced, making it 9.46%. And the person says it clearly shows a deliberate effort to follow due process, with exceptions made mainly for urgent national needs and completion of inherited projects. This is in sharp contrast to the kind of questionable practices we witnessed under the previous administration, where single sourcing became a norm rather than an exception, often raising serious concerns about accountability and value for money. And it says it's quite telling that those who presided over such practices are now attempting to muddy the waters and mislead the public. Ghanaians are more informed today and can see through the attempts and distorted facts. So this one is Felix's post that he made on Facebook. I don't have the entire thing, but I think it's just some excerpts of it. And he makes the point that to be able to make a proper discussion or analysis of this single source contract, you ought to look at all the contracts that have been given since the NDC came to power in the road sector in its totality. And then you would come to a certain realization that out of that 930 contracts that have been awarded, some feeder roads and so on and so forth, highways and so on, it was only under the sole source project, which is 107. If you take 23 out, it brings out about 80 something, which have been given out as single source. So for anybody to suggest that the NDC government has turned the roads ministry into a sole sourced factory, the person may not be accurate in that description. Let me start with Collins. Collins, does this change the dynamics of the issues of this single source contracts? It doesn't.
Felix shouldn't. He's my very good friend.
Okay.
I have a great deal of respect for him. But he shouldn't take us for, he wants to play around with some numbers. The discussion about the big push has nothing to do with all the contract that government has signed. This whole Suleimana thing was about the big push. Big push project.
Okay.
You see, when we're in power, sometimes, I don't know whether when you are in power and when you're in opposition, something really happens to you. I remember Ankwesi when His Excellency Nana Addo announced that there's not going to be a haircut. And then subsequently, there was a haircut. I tell you, we could not manage that communication well. We paid dearly for it. Dearly for it. I'm telling you. DEEP, all the reports we've had, it came out very clear that was one of the things that really hurt us. Moro, we listened to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We listened to his assigns when they were in opposition about sole sourcing and what they said. We understand English. We are not kids. Yet when they speak to you, we understand. Nobody should come and play with us about this sole sourcing thing that it's not like the MPP government. What did Mr. Mahama say, His Excellency? What did he say, Moro? What did he say? It was going to be a thing of the past. I'm going to take steps to ensure that this thing does not become a norm. Oh, if you give contract worth almost 14 billion, 30 billion, 50 billion on sole sourcing, and you are still explaining your way that there's no sole source, I don't understand. And I ain't when the president says it's going to be rare, what is the meaning of rare? And we are still seeing it. It's just a matter of principle. Just take steps to change your ways. But to trying to explain that we've given 900 contract and only 80 something. What is the value of that 80 something that he's talking about? What is the value? They shouldn't take us for some people who don't understand what is going on. Okay. This is about principle. It's about the principle. What did the president say? We were in power with this sole sourcing. In our law, sole sourcing is not illegal.
Yes.
Is it illegal? It's not.
It's not.
But what was said? What did they tell us? When we were in power and we did sole sourcing, it is not illegal. What were we told? It's a breeding ground for corruption. Breeding ground for corruption. Now you engage in the same thing. You are bringing the point out to you. You say, oh, it's 900 or something, and we gave only 80. At a value of almost 40 billion. You see, he's my good friend.
But is it a quantum analysis, i.e. the quantum of the amount of money we're talking about, or the number of contracts that have been given? Where lies the argument? And that's my first question. My second question is this, Collins. If you have a report that says that the roads ministry has become a factory for churning out sole source contracts.
Push.
No, hold on. Would it be fair to have an analysis of such a report without looking at in totality how much contracts have been given by the roads ministry.
What is the value of that contract?
No, Collins, you don't get the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to make is that the value of the contract is another conversation we can have. But I'm saying that if you have a ministry that says that I assumed office 7th January 2025. And since I came, I have opened that has never happened before. And that in the 8 years of the NPP, almost 90, and that the change which the NDC had promised when they were in opposition, which is that we'll make it rare, we'll make it an exception and not the norm. And you have 93% being contracts that had been given in the last 1 year and some months, which is about 93%, or 7% going for sole sourced. Isn't that in keeping with the promise which has been made? Until and unless the law is changed.
Which promise is that?
Which is to make sole source the exception to the rule and not the rule itself. Do you get it? I mean, can you have this conversation without looking at the contract that has been given in its totality? Remember, this is not something you started. This is Suleiman Abrahama.
I'm saying you are trying to assess with the communication.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just asking questions.
I'm telling you that it will not wash. We are
Why?
talking about a principle. It will not wash. We are not kids. So
how
we listen. That 90-something, 900-something contract that Felix is talking about, you should give it as a value. The biggest contract is the big push. Check the value of the big push contract as against the others, and let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers.
But the two.
Please, let's look at the numbers.
Okay, so you think the numbers?
Let's look at the numbers.
For you,
let's look at the value. Let's look at the value. Muro, 40 billion contract on sole sourcing cannot be read. But I'm saying sole sourcing is not illegal. In our government, there was sole sourcing. But the attitude of the NDC towards our sole sourcing was, hey, it's a breeding ground for corruption.
Okay.
If you come and do the same thing, you are printing it out. You say,
do you buy the argument about the Auditor General's contracts that have been given? That is why we're not getting value for money. And then the NDC lashed on that and held press conferences and so on. Does that change the color of your
Are you
argument?
now saying that the NDC's promise of making sole sourcing rare was because, or what all that the NDC was saying, that is a breeding ground for corruption was because of the Auditor General's report? That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Uncle Z.
Yeah, boss. First and foremost, my brother, the Honorable Member of Parliament, has stated today, right now, that sole sourcing is not illegal.
Yes.
He has said so.
Yes.
The implication of what you have just said is simple. I mean, there are laws governing public procurement. And the laws spell out conditions under which sole sourcing may become the mode of awarding the contract.
True.
So the issue for us as citizens is whether the laws have been complied with. Clear, whether the laws have been complied with or they have been violated. That's a substantial issue. So far, I haven't had one argument saying that the laws have been flouted.
It's a moral argument so far. Nothing to do with the law.
There's nothing that anybody has said indicating that the laws have been violated.
True.
Then there's an issue of language and interpretation. The emphasis is on the fact that the current president said that if he assumed office, he will make sole sourcing rare.
An exception.
What does that mean? It doesn't mean that there will be no sole sourcing, but the incidence of sole sourcing will be reduced. Is that not what it means? The language.
Yes.
It will be reduced. It will be reduced to the extent that it may pale into insignificance when compared with non-sole sourced contracts. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's look at the facts. And some of the facts have been provided by Felix Kwachi Ofosu. And the facts provided by Felix Kwachi Ofosu indicates that since this government came into power, only 3% of contracts have been awarded on the basis of sole contract. This is contested by my brother here, who says that don't just look at the numbers of contracts which have been awarded, but look at the value of the contracts which have been awarded.
You think it's more important?
More important. Nobody can question him. But when you talk about making sole sourcing rare, are you talking about the value, or you are talking about, you know,
a number of contracts,
numbers and so on? So that's something that we can all deal with. In any case, my friends from the New Patriotic Party make it seem like what this government has done is worse than what they did in office. The facts don't point to that. According to the Auditor General, whilst they were in office, more than 90% of the contracts that they awarded, in fact around 95%, was done on the basis of sole sourcing.
Roads contracts?
Yes, road contracts.
Or is it contracts in general?
Road contracts.
I'm just referring to the Auditor General's report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Auditor General's report, yes.
Was done on the basis of sole sourcing.
Yes.
That's a substantial difference. Okay? So this government is not doing worse than what the NPP did. That's also established. But you see, all of us would have to agree that we have to use methods of awarding contracts which bring about greater transparency and better money for value analysis. Nobody can disagree with that. Indeed, the president, when he made his comments in which he asked the Fourth Estate to submit its report and so on, also made the same point, that the important thing is value for money, you understand? And that the processes ought to be transparent, and the processes ought not to encourage, you know, graft and corruption and so on. The president makes the same argument that all of us are making. Now, the president has requested for the report of the Fourth Estate, and I want to state publicly that, quite apart from the respect that I've had for the Fourth Estate, you know, I've also had tremendous respect for somebody like Sulemana. He's one of our most brilliant journalists. In all my dealings with him, he's turned out to be, or has come up, as somebody who treasures values of discipline and so on. So, but it doesn't mean that he cannot make mistakes like all of us. He's fallible.
Yes.
You understand? But then I think that he will not go out of his way to do something which will discredit him or destroy his credibility. The president has asked for the report. The report will be looked at, it will be studied, and mind you, the report was based on data which was provided by the ministry itself, okay? And then all of us can come to conclusions about the way forward.
Well,
in the
I have a bit of a challenge with this, with the president's report, the request for the report. What report is the president requesting for? The report is out there. It's public. Every information that was provided to the Fourth Estate by the Roads Ministry was something that I believe the cabinet had approved. And so the president by now must have access to the report.
The Fourth Estate report,
yes,
is not just a compilation
of
documents from the Roads Ministry. The Fourth Estate report is first a compilation of documents of the Roads Ministry. It's also analysis, which involves judgment and so on.
Right.
So when the president requests for reports,
he wants all of that.
He wants all of that.
Makes
if it's just about the documents from the Roads Ministry,
that he
can just ask the Roads Minister to give him the documents. But it's more than that. It includes value judgments on the documents which came from the ministry. You understand? So I'm hoping that this whole exercise will be completed in good time, so all of us can have access to the final outcome, and all of us can make a determination. Now, what the president promised in opposition was to review the procurement law, you know, and to tighten it such that its abuse can be minimized. That has not been done.
Right.
It hasn't been done. In all honesty, it hasn't been done. So I'm sure that the public, all of us, are looking forward to measures which will tighten the procurement laws, and make sure that sole sourcing actually becomes as rare as the president promised in opposition. But given what we have now, the Fourth Estate report and so on, I would suggest very strongly that some of the positions which have been taken are unduly alarmist. You understand? Because, I mean, when I'm hit with the figures, and I find that 97% of all contracts awarded were done without sole sourcing. And I look at I listen to the public discussion on sole sourcing and so on, there's a gap. I mean, the impression you get is that, look, something excessively criminal has been done. Most of the contracts were awarded on sole sourcing basis and so on. It is not exactly true, you understand? But the president must keep the commitments he made in opposition. Finish.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, Moro, just a little point. When the MPP was in government, and they did the sole sourcing, and was there any criminality?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So what the MPP did at the time, there was no criminal issue. So the opposition then, their outrage at the MPP government at the time was not because of any criminality. It was also a moral issue.
Right.
No moral. I just want you to get my point.
Yeah.
So it was a moral issue.
That was a moral issue.
So MPP did not do any criminality with their sole source.
That was a moral issue.
Okay.
No,
and at the time,
it wasn't just a moral issue.
Right.
It wasn't just a moral issue. There was suspected criminality.
Inflated costs. Inflated
suspected criminality.
So as we speak now, those suspected criminality.
Can I?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
The suspected criminality.
Right.
Because of the assumption then that some contracts were awarded directly to relatives of big men in government.
Right.
So if you award contracts to your relatives without sole sourcing, suspicion is aroused.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So that's what happened in the MPP era. In this particular case, I'm yet to hear of the president or the vice president's brother being awarded some of the contracts on sole sourcing basis.
Right. In fact, the reason why I didn't want to raise matters of criminality was because, for me, until a court of competent jurisdiction pronounces the person to be guilty, that's why I didn't want to raise the issue of
criminality. No, it's suspected.
That's fine.
It's suspected.
That's fine.
Is that it?
Suspected may not be substantive.
I agree with you.
It's suspected criminality.
Yes.
And that some were awarded to brothers and friends. No problem. So now when
I didn't add friends.
Brothers.
Yes. Family relatives.
So when now government contracts, government assets, government things that belong to government or government contracts are awarded to brothers, they are suspected criminality.
Sole sourcing. You should add the sole sourcing.
Sole sourcing. You should add the sole sourcing.
Yes.
Then there's
sufficient. But the competitive bidding,
no,
it goes through everything.
There's no illegality when there's sole sourcing.
Right?
There's no illegality when it is sole sourcing, but the laws allow for sole sourcing.
Yes.
However, when it is sole source to a president's brother,
yes,
or the vice president's
relative, let's say the president's family relative.
So there's a suspected sole source, suspected criminality. That's not it.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, but as of now, we've not established that the sole sourcing that was done by the MPP,
yes,
which led to all the bashing by the NDC, people sitting in cabinet now. It means they did so on the basis of moral issues, not because there was any criminality.
Well, suspected.
Suspected. Oh, suspected. That's what you're saying, Kwesi.
Yeah.
It's suspected.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Ghanaian people who are watching and listening to me, if you give contract worth 40 billion, it may be 2%, it may be 3%. But when you look at the value of that sole sourcing, which is equivalent to almost 50 billion Ghana cedis, it's not a problem. I'm saying a time will come when the quiet Ghanaian people will take a decision on these things, whether there's double standards or not. They'll take a decision. Because the Ghanaian people watch and listen to press conferences by the people in government now on sole sourcing. It was not about criminality, as we are saying now. They just made the issue about as if something dangerous has happened. Today, they have sole sourced almost 50 billion Ghana cedi. They say it's just 3%. The Ghanaian people are watching. They are listening to us. A time will come, a decision will be made. That's my point.
No, colleagues, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Look, ultimately, the final arbiters are the people of Ghana.
Absolutely.
Ultimately. So, to that extent,
yes,
you are absolutely
right.
There's no
yes.
problem with that. You understand? However, Collins, these press conferences you referred to were made by all of you. All of you held press conferences, and all of you took positions. The only thing is that there were differences in the positions that you took. Again, it's important to avert our minds to the fact that all this debate about sole sourcing before 2024 and so on was actually occasioned by an Auditor General's report that formed the basis of the agitation. You shouldn't forget that it was an Auditor General's report which formed the basis of the agitation. Okay?
Okay. Let me read some messages here. So this one here is from Sani Sali, who says, Assalamu alaikum. It's amazing how MPP is flying kites and going for fishing for elusive scandals rampantly. It's even more amazing how they are pushing for the same things they condemned yesterday, which sent them into opposition. JM cares so little about an abortive Lincoln University award, and that tells you he is anti-LGBTQ and will personally remain a campaigner for man-woman heterosexual relationship. Such inconsistency and hypocrisy won't put pressure on everyone. Good morning. That's from Sani Saliu. Kojotu Mwafo says, good morning, Moro. I see my nephew has joined the Scandal Development Authority as the receptionist. Please ask my nephew that where was his conscience when they awarded $95 million sole source contract to a contract named the National Cathedral. Peter T. from Shukura says, good morning, Moro. This is Peter T. from Shukura. Moro, enforcement of any law by whether legal or illegal, is the sole responsibility of government in power. John Mohammed's government is a government that allows for broader consultation. Sole sourcing or no sole sourcing has its own implications. We need to begin to understand that governments have come and gone, but we had a record under Nana Bawumia administration that took this country into a huge financial mismanagement that damaged hope and aspirations of Ghanaians under sole sourcing. Say no to MPP and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says that, good morning, my brother. I totally agree with President Mahama saying that the issue of LGBTQ is not his priority at this moment. It is so because the bill has not gotten to his table yet. It will only become a priority to him if only the bill gets to his table for him to sign. At the moment, we're going through a lot in this country, which the president is so concerned about. If the MPP is so interested in the passing of the bill, they should have advised President Nana Addo to sign the bill into law and not to authorize his secretary to return the bill to Parliament. When Parliament has finished its duties according to law and refer the bill to him to sign, the MPP should first and foremost finish the passing of the bill in Parliament first and refer to the President Mahama, and I can assure you that he will sign it without watching his back. President Mahama is not like President Kufuor, who has no respect for law and Parliament. Sebastian from Accra says, Moro, many people confuse single source and sole sourcing in procurement. Here is the difference. Single source is when only one supplier is chosen, even though others could provide the product or service. Sole sourcing is when only one supplier in the market can provide it. There's simply no alternative. Think of it like this. Single source is picking your favorite brand from many options. Sole sourcing is buying a unique product that only one company makes. Understanding this helps the public see how government and business contracts are awarded fairly. Sebastian San, Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply. Yes, if you recall, if you've been listening to me carefully, I kept using single source, because I know that when you look at this context, it's single sourced, okay? Because it isn't as though there aren't others, but the government chose persons that they felt had the capacity to do it. So there were others. If there wasn't any other person who can do it, then we say sole source. So I totally get that. Desmond, who's the managing editor of the Catalyst newspaper, says, when President Mahama criticized sole source contracts under the MPP, he was right. At the time, the NDC referred to the Auditor General's report, which clearly stated that the cost of some sole source road contracts under MPP were inflated by 300%. This is the Auditor General's report, not NDC. Let the MPP stop obfuscating the issue. The noise is too much. Agoja is not like them. This one from Musa Abatwa in Asawasi says that MPP and their collaborators are simply making noise to paint the government black. There is nothing inherently wrong with sole sourcing when it is done transparently, especially in the situations of urgent national need. I challenge Honorable Collins to point out to anyone within the NDC who has never said sole sourcing is criminal. The focus should be on accountability and value for money, not propaganda. You see, the challenge with these kinds of things to prove is that, you see, there are comments that are made by individuals But of course, for politicians, sometimes for political convenience, they can use an individual, especially the person is not even speaking for the party or the NPP, NDC, to say their party said, depending on what kind of argument they want to make. And then you also have situations where if it's politically convenient, you have the politician say, oh, well, this person said, he said in his private capacity, it doesn't represent the position of the party. So it's something you need to watch out. I'm sure that if the NPP were going to do some deep research, they will bring out lots and lots of tapes of individuals who have said that they won't be so saucy under this government. But whether that represents the party's position is another matter. So you've got to watch it. Sam Akukeli says that more a certain group of politicians never cease to amuse me. How on earth would the NPP be averse to signing the LGBTQ bill into law and now turn around shouting on rooftops for same bill to be signed? Though they may have a point in the argument, how prudent and credible can such a stance be? Since when did the NPP realize that signing a bill is a good and urgent thing to do? Where has the sense of recall gone to what pragmatism should find space in our body politics? Ghanaians are keenly watching. Mark Kojoboafu from the United States of America says, good morning, Moro. Ghana is on reset. All the pastors who pressed the neck of former President Akufo-Addo to sign the Human and Sexuality Bill have been reset. Let's concentrate on the big push now, which will bring development to Ghana. When the last man gets shelter, food and clothing will go back to LGBT clothing. We can go back to LGBT issues. Mark from the United States of America. Michael from Nigeria says, brother, I don't know it will be safe to blah, blah, blah. Perception of conflict of interest is subjective and riddled with individual disingenuities. And some more. Potential conflict of interest is a presumption and should be open to rebuttal. Perhaps the thing to do is give the government the opportunity to rebut the presumption of conflict of interest. In every climate, society overlooks perceived conflict of interest to help the economy grow. Kufuor Minister for Defense was his younger brother, who is a medical doctor, but the guy did a good job. His uncle was head of Maslow. He did a good job. JFK's Attorney General was Robert, his younger brother. He also did a good job. We must look at merit. And he says, I think EMP is competent and there might not be a bigger entity in that sector for the job. We're talking about EMP. Guy G says that, Guy G from Cantonment says that based on recent reports, Sam George, a leading proponent of Ghana's anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, has not stated he's tired of the fight against LGBTQ+ rights. Instead, he has expressed fatigue regarding the length of the legislative process and frustration with perceived delays in passing the bill. Thank you very much, Guy G, for that. Guy G from Cantonment in Accra. Now, JC Boakun says that it's a political marketing SMO. Let me greet the champion MP, Honorable Rasta. Oh, I didn't know you're called Rasta. Oh, the way they don't tell me. It says Collins Dumako Mensa, and I quote him this morning on anti-LGBTQ+ bill. If it is not a priority, no problem. Ghanaians are watching. Write today's day down. President Mohammed and the NDC will never make it a priority. Regards my uncle Kwesi Pratt. Nice shirts. JC Boakun, political marketing expert. And also, Papa Bishop, I've seen your message, but I need to do this. It's extremely important. I beg you guys. MNC Group. It's your #1 partner in minerals and food commodities trading, real estate development, general logistics, procurement, management consultancy, investment advisory, import and export. They have headquarters in East Legon, Accra, Ghana. They also have one in Dubai, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia, USA, Arezzo in Italy, and Hanover, Germany. We connect markets that drive business growth with tailor-made solutions to meet your need. Please call them on 0302 998 246 or 02655 05337 or 056-103-2252. MNC Group, totally reliant. And before I go, Kiki, today's your birthday. Happy birthday. He's a member of our technical team. That's him.
Happy birthday.
He's a big man. Yes, he's a big man. Very, he's massive. Look at him.
Look.
That's Randy Kiki.
This announcement of birthdays.
Birthdays, yes.
Without commensurate action.
What if
you are going to announce your birthdays in your face? You should do something.
You know, announcement without action is empty. So Kiki, do something. That's him. That's the chap in your shot. He's a very hard-working member of our technical team. Yes, happy birthday, David Brown. That's his name, also known as Kiki affectionately. Charlie, we wish you. I know. Very close friends with Annie, and a Fuan Pofu. Yes, and also a camera girl, Heidi Elinam. Heidi Elinam Amesimeku. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Wish you God's guidance, blessings, and everything that you wish for yourself. And it's for me and the guests were seated here. So the two of you, happy birthday once again, but do something, do action. Thanks for watching. Good morning, guys. Bye-bye.
From